Hey, what is up, guys? It's Giltspire here, and welcome back to Dead by Daylight. How y'all doing today on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon? Hopefully you all are doing well. What's up, Ocean? What's up, Hamley? What is up, Right? Hopefully you all are having an amazing, amazing day. And what is up, Giraffe, as well? To answer your question, Ocean, yes, indeed, I did see your message. Would be interested in doing so, though I would like to have all of the logos professionally made by my graphic designer, Peter, if so. In which case, I have already put a poll out before about having teams pay for partially pay for those logos. If they're interested in. I'd play the majority, they would pay a portion of it, and then kind of go from there. Probably have to do it team by team, bit by bit. But I'd be fully for that eventually. The biggest thing is, as well, is that teams do change over time, and so that can get a little bit expensive. So I'd have to kind of weigh the options. With that being said, today is Win Streak Wednesday, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we've done a Win Streak Wednesday on the Doctor. Let me just confirm that real quick, but I'm almost certain of it. Let's see, we did Wraith, we've done Freddy, we've done Twins, Billy, Oni, Nurse, Hag, Plague, Shape, Demogorgon, Deathslinger, Clown, and the Legion. And it does not appear that the Doctor is on that list. And with Doctor currently on a 3-win streak, let's go with match of the Doc. Will crash its current pollen platforms and some PCs today. Yeah, I did see that. Unfortunately, I already gave a disclaimer in the Discord that if we get too many connectivity issues, that will probably be ending the stream early. At the end of the day, I want to be respectful of your time as a viewer, and thus, you know, if an instance that we're having a lot of issues, we're in a lot of wait times, a lot of queue times, yada yada yada, we'll probably end the stream early accordingly. On the bright side, that gives me more time to record more Resident Evil 7 episodes, which I did record episode 1 last night. That'll be going up Monday next week, and I am thinking about doing an episode every single day. Would you guys be for that? Would you guys have enough time to watch one 30-minute episode a day of Resident Evil 7? Would you rather it be Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Now, give me your thoughts. I know initially when I polled people, they want Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Of course, the downside of that is that we don't get through series as fast as if we did Monday through Friday, so that'd be 5 episodes in conjunction with the normal ones. Connectivity issues is stutter. That refused to work. Gotcha. I'll have to keep that in mind. I can already tell that queue times are a wee bit longer than normal. Normally around this time of day, they'd be pretty instant. Personally, you can watch it all the time. Yeah, I mean, worst comes to worst, of course, you can always go back and watch them later, right? But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed the Outlast playthrough. We're going to be going back to Outlast 1 for Whistleblower, and then to Outlast 2 after we finish Resident Evil 8. So if you guys did enjoy Outlast, I know it's a fun time making it for me. You know, if you haven't seen 10, I gave my little synopsis and viewpoint on, you know, the game as a whole, what I liked, what I didn't like, and how in some ways I kind of became a little bit desensitized to the horrors of Outlast. Did I move my shirt at all? I did. I threw it on top of Meep. Yep, no, I put it on Meep's head. I saw her, petted her head, and put it on top of her. Yeah, I have seen that. I saw your comments on episode 9, so I think you're already on episode 9, which means you just have the last one, episode 10. Like, we got through Outlast relatively quickly. I think it may or may not be because, as if you guys have watched like the majority of it, probably upwards of episode 5 and 6, you'll see probably a moment where I realize something in Outlast to where I realize that I can take hits in a similar way that I could via Dead by Daylight as a survivor. And like in that moment, my mentality just changed. It went from, oh, if I'm in a chase, I can strategically take a hit from an enemy, and as long as I don't get cornered and run and kite them long enough, I can recover health to get back to where I need to be. And so that did change my mentality really quickly on Outlast, but I think it's still a really enjoyable game overall, and would highly recommend watching it. There are some really great moments that I did love watching back from the small little jump scares, and they did get me on some good ones. There were some moments of, okay, this was a little bit predictable, I know what's coming, to some other ones that were, you know, completely unexpected, got me in the heat of the moment, mid-chase, and like, and that is hysterical. I can't wait for Cam to make a compilation. Yeah, there's a lot of moments of, okay, just need to power through. You know, we can get through this, and just keep on running. And at the very beginning of the game, I was very much, okay, shut all the doors slowly. Why are you slamming? To, screw that noise, I'm slamming every single door. Oh, jeez. Subnautica will also be making a return as well. I need to get a intro to camp. I keep on forgetting, so if someone could message me and just remind me, that would be lovely. I also do believe we have two TTVs in the slot. We have Tor 1 Bus, as well as Knave is Bad. Turn off crossplay because matchmaking might be looking for console players that don't exist. Interesting. I'll keep crossplay on for now. Obviously, we do see here that everyone is PC. So if we do continue to see that, maybe I'll take crossplay off. But we'll wait and see what's going on. Do I have my right build? I do. Perfect. We got surveillance on the doctor. Surveillance is good, realistically speaking. I am thinking about some other things, though. What we could use on Mr. Doctor. Also, are either one of the, whatchamacallit, TTVs live by chance? Alright, blood points, and more blood points. Got to love it. Knave is not. Find another one. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, if wait time would be too long, that's fair. Yeah, I know one of the big issues with console, of course, is their current frame rate drops. That's been the common thing that I've been hearing. For those who don't know what Champions of the Fog is, it's my own competitive Dead by Daylight league that I organized and host. We've actually delayed this weekend's matches because of it, in order to avoid any technical issues or disadvantages that could be applied to console players, which is unfortunate. Not live, unfortunate. But let's see if these survivors have any regrets. We do see our totem over in a corrupted area. Not thrilled about that. We do also see crows suggesting they're in my terror radius as of this moment. Hi there, don't mind me, just going to whack you real quick. Could you maybe not do that? The corn blindness really does mess with your auto aim if you're not careful. Alright, let's see, do you drop pallet early? Most people do against stock. That's a Lithe instead. No dance with me though, so she shoots out to this tile. Show the red light, she does break, or drop rather. Yo, what's up, Beast? How goes it? How you doing today? Looks like we lost the Nia, instead found Felix. We see Jill. We see the Gen over there was regressing, is no longer though. Do you drop the pallet? As I said before, without the high stimulus electrode or moldy electrode, honestly, hitting for pallets is pretty bad. Took a 4-hour nap, it was great. Happy to hear that. Well, let's give chase. Let's actually shock out in the middle of these two gens. There it is. Perfect timing. That gives me all the information that I need. And they are taking hit after hit through pallets. That is a rough thing for them, to say the least. Now, I will say that they are getting some good value here on these pallets and drops, though I'm breaking most of them. Let's see, is that the person I want to chase? Or is that someone else? You keep on transferring chases by accident. They keep on coming across us suddenly. Pallet's already gone, mate. Perfect. And let's put you up on this hook for now. Corruption Intervention just ended. Ruin is gone, which means Surveillance is going to get less value. Kind of rough. I have debated whether or not I want to run Ruin Undying on Doc rather than Pop. Just because it would get us more Surveillance value, theoretically speaking. But all the while would also just be more fragile, too. Let's take a look here. There's Jill. Where are you heading off to? Is the question. You will get hit here. Let's shock out since you're in this tile. Kind of mess with you a little bit. Let's get some distance off the vault, and she'll go for pallet more likely than not. Yep, I can't mind game it here, so we'll just get her to drop in vault. At least she has life. Does she go to the left? She does indeed. To the next pallet. She'll drop. Let's get her going back around for the break. That way she loses distance on this. And trying to see now what her options are. I mean, they're losing good value on these gens. Perfect. Yep, they saw me there. I think maybe they are trying to see if they could go for a flashlight save. Not going to happen, so I'm going to pop that gen. Get some good value off of Pop and Surveillance. Hi there. I need both of you off that if possible. They might commit to it, potentially. Nope, no commitment. Excellent. Let's follow the blood. Actually, we do have Felix here in a pretty unopportune position. Perfect. They have not touched it yet. I imagine that 2 people will be on that almost instantaneously after the unhook. Looks like Jill healed. He's going up to Harvester again. I still am heavily disappointed by Eruption, all the changes that they made, honestly, and think that Eruption, though not bad with Pop in hand, is personally not as good as it could theoretically be. And I think that's still arguably worse than Ruin 9 times out of 10. There's 2. One's now in tier 3, one's in tier 2. Excellent. Let's give chase to Jill. Now, we are above a 1-for-1 ratio, which is good. Bad news, though, we are below a 2-to-1. There's the vault. And they do have pallets. Let's see where they go. Back into the loop. And looks like we lost Chase. She does not go for the vault yet. This might count as number 2. Let's vault after. That gen still has not been touched. And let's go for one more. There's number 3. Excellent. It's a W that we don't play this weekend? Yeah, it did work out. It did work out after all. Looks like she went out back and around. Yep, that's exactly what she did. She has Iron Will, which made it hard for me to tell whether or not she went to the right or to the left. Let's shock out real quick. Get them off of that gen. Alright, Jill, my girl. Time to injure you again. Let's get another pop going if I can help it. Now, you're going to an area where a pallet is no longer in existence. And you will recognize that and try and go for the vault instead. That would be the smart move. And we're now on a 1-for-1 ratio on gens to hooks, which means you need to go back to that gen and pop it ASAP. I mean, they're playing a good game. They're making it so that these chases take a while. They're using a lot of things effectively. Yo, what's up, Cozy? How goes it? How goes it? How you doing today, my friend? Joe's up here. Bounce landing question mark. I see crows go off in that tile. So I see another survivor here. Let's go for them. Get them off the gen. There's Nia, who we found early on. I don't know how I'm not hitting her. That's so odd. Oh, it's gone already. She vaults, that's fine. And now on that gen, let's shock out here. Get them off of it. And Nia goes back here. Do you vault? You do not. Begin to show a red light. Gain distance on the vault then. Doing well. Happy to hear. Happy to hear. Now let's see if you have Dead Hard then. And we see Jill trying to line up for the flashlight save. Not about that life, Jill. I know what you're attempting. Trying to use the corn to avoid auto-aim. Let's leave them slugged out and go for Jill. This area is pretty bad for her. All the pallets are broken. It's a huge dead zone on this side of the map. Attempted flashlight tech. Not gonna work. 10% regression on that gen. Probably going for the pickup. Yep, they did. Let's hook, then pop this. Then we can go back to the other gen. Alright, and our shock is just about up as we speak. Let's shock out. A lot of people on tier 2, which will certainly help us. Let's go for Felix here. Goes for the vault. And we do see him back on that gen that we popped earlier. We might want to go for that, theoretically speaking. 3 people injured. Why are you baiting me so hard here? Is there a pallet here? There might not be. Yeah, there wasn't, but I think she wants to take a hook state, potentially. So what we're going to do is we'll give up on the gen on the right that was surveillance. We'll instead go for Felix's gen here and pop that, and then make our way over, see if we can get a shock out to stop it in time. But that shows a lot of smarts on Nia's part to take that hook state right there, knowing full well that people were on death hook. So good job, Nia. I think after Nia, I think everyone might be dead on hook after that. Shock out, that's 2 people, 1 person on tier 3, 1 person on tier 2. Yep, not happening there. Now they could potentially go for the finish on the gen once they snap out. I'm not sure which Jill I'm at though. Let's end you. I think I was on the wrong Jill, which is unfortunate. Nope, I was on the right Jill, which means she wasn't on the gen. She had to snap out all the while. We might be able to get here in time. Potentially. Nope. Close, but no cigar. So Jill's dead. That surveillance there still shows they haven't touched it. Let's go to some other gens ASAP and check in the meanwhile. No one here. We see Jill here. She wants me to chase her. Attempted flashlight tech. Not a smart play. Let's go for Felix real quick. Leave her slugged out. This will probably alert the other survivor that we're in chase on Felix. Let's go for this gen and pop it real quick. We might not have enough time, actually. Nope, we do not. So we'll instead go on chase on Nia. And let's take a look. She goes for the vault, of course. And they got Jill up and also fully recovered. Keeping in mind that they haven't worked on that gen all too much. The one that Felix is on. This one has been worked on a lot more. Olaf said hi in chat. I was wondering what that was. I wasn't sure. Thought maybe it was like a word emote or something. Alright, let's pop. Let's see. Both Jill and Felix are on tier 1 as we speak. We'll go for Felix's gen real quick and see if there's 2 people on it. Let's shock out. There's 1 and 2. Now both on tier 2, which is great. Next shock will put them into tier 3. Let's get her going around this way. Jen has not been touched, so good news there. We need to make sure that we stay in chase. There we go. We'll break it. We see the unhook. We know that immediately they're going to probably touch the gen. Let's manually regress this. And let's head back towards here. Let's see, tier 2, tier 2, tier 2. Next static blast will put people in a tier 3, so they can't heal or do much of anything. Let's see, I see Felix, excellent. Gen's pretty well regressed. We do see the other gen being worked on as we speak. Let's push him towards that gen and static blast. Thereafter. Alright, let's go towards that. Everyone's injured too, which is a lovely sight. Let's shock out now. There's Jill, who's still injured. No pallet anymore, which is great for me. Good dodge. And let's push her back this way, because that is the right way to loop Meat Tree. Good attempt at a fake. Now, Nia could be on that gen again, which is a slight concern. Alright, let's go for that. Take a look at this gen. We're gonna pop this one real quick. Blast Mine. Wow, that lasted a while. That actually might give them the time that they need to go to the other gen, I'm not gonna lie. That could be concerning. Just a wee bit. Nia would be still injured over here. No one's over here. Let's manually regress this for surveillance value. No one's touched that yet either. We see the apparition showing that they're going in that direction, though. Let's check this gen. Yep, there they are. That's Nia. She's now in tier 3. And we need to now manually regress this one. We know that there's at least one, if not two people on that gen as we speak. Thankfully, Nia's heading in that direction. Let's try and line game this. Nope, she doesn't fall for it. But she does fall off the tile pretty quick. If I take too long here, I lose the gen. We know which gens have not been worked on since. She's heading back towards her active gen, though, which is rough. I mean, they're doing a good job of splitting gen pressure, I'm not gonna lie. How do we win this? Both gens have now been worked on. All 3 gens have progress. Nia's back on her gen, which has the most progress out of all of them thus far. So we go to here real quick. And it's not Nia. Holy hell, what? It's Jill instead. Now that's unexpected. So I think they might be on comms based on this behavior. I don't know why. Just really seems like it. That gen has the most progress out of all of it. What other gens we need to worry about? That one to our left. You know, the one back there, they may have doubled up on it after all. Shoot. So she's dead. This execute's here. What one will they go for? That's the question. And could they already be set up on this execute? I can't see it behind the hay bale. Shock out. Try and interrupt. There's Felix, but we don't see Nia, which would potentially mean that she's on the other execute. You really want to play this game, Felix? I don't know why you wanted to. So in that case, we go back for this execute and hope Nia hasn't opened it yet and try and play off her altruism. I mean, her smartest move would just be play it out and open the execute at this point in time. That would be your smartest move. And we already see the lights on. We are close, but no cigar. Yep. There's no point in me forcing her out. We were close. We are seconds off. Literally seconds. If I had my static blast maybe to interrupt her, then we could have done it. But just so close on that. You know where Felix is. At least was. Felix, me boy. Where'd you go? Now, Nia might play altruistically if we can't find Felix. We do see crows come back over here. Alright. Nope, no dice. Which means as soon as we kill Felix, Nia leaves, and that will result in a loss. Yep. Could be trying to crawl the hatch? Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're doing. I think hatch is right there. That's exactly what he's attempting. I mean, a 3K with 11 hooks, really good game, but with our rule set, that does not count as a win. And so the Doctor will lose his 3-win streak, but GG, well played to these survivors. Oh, that was a rough one. I'd be willing to say on comms, yo, what's up, Nave is bad. GG's, my friend, GG's. I appreciate you stopping by, saying hi. Would love to have you here as part of the Guilty Ones if you are interested. We literally used every pallet. Yep, you guys literally did. I made sure in the early game to get those out of the way. And Nave, thank you much for the follow. Welcome to the Guilty Ones, my friend. I am Mark, aka Guiltspire. I'm an educational killer main, here to teach kills how to play killer and survivors how to play against killer. Let's see a Billy win streak sometime. We actually attempted to. We got to 9 wins and then we lost it, unfortunately. So we'll be doing another one again, I'm sure. But with that being said, Facecam should be good. Out of curiosity, Nave, are you guys on a 4-man Swift there, or was it just maybe 2-2, 1-1? Am I a gamer? I mean, I do have a gaming chair, so I would think so. In case you missed it, because match, I have a scrim about 6:30. So if you finish early, I'll be back. Sounds good, Giraffe. I appreciate the heads up. Let's update the win streak real quick. Doc goes back to 0 with a best of 9. Our goal today, of course, is getting him to 10. Crossing off another killer off the 10 win streak list. I think we have roughly, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We right now have 9 killers on 10 or more wins in a row. Were you doing like a no shock challenge or something? No, so one thing I have learned about Doctor is that unless you have some tighter loops where you can give the pallet to the survivor and be able to catch up to them by the time they go back around, his static blast is not worth it unless you're using a high stimulus electrode. With high stimulus electrode, you can shock them before they get to the pallet in chase in order to obviously interrupt them and then get a hit. But without it, the range is just so short that it's really not worth it, in my opinion, because more often than not, a smart survivor will still be able to drop the pallet in the animation, or I still won't have enough distance, and so they'll already have dropped it by the time I shock them. So, unfortunately, Doctor without add-ons is a little bit weak in some cases. That's why, personally, I do believe that if they gave him High Stimulus Electrode or Moldy Electrode on base kit, he would overall be stronger and probably would be at an ideal state, in my opinion. Right now, don't get me wrong, he's not bad. He's just not great. No, exactly. That's why I didn't shock therapy, I think, a single time that match. There are some loops, like on Midwich, on Coldwind, some Coldwind maps, some McMillan maps and stuff like that, where the loops are short enough to where you can make that move by giving the survivor the pallet, but for the most part, it's just not worth it. That's why I believe that a Doctor buff would be reasonable to give him the range of Moldy or High Stimulus Electrode, but because Doctor is in a okay-ish place, I doubt they'll ever do so. Personally, if I was behavior, I'd go over all the killers eventually and tweak them so that way they are ideal. I know there's the big argument that, oh, killers are stronger than survivors, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, well, in a coordinated Swift, that's not really the case. Just tweeted that connection issues are fixed. Awesome. Happy to hear that. And Killer, thank you much for the follow. Welcome to the Guilty Ones, my friend. Very happy to have you here. I'm not sure if you caught my intro earlier, but if you did not, let me know and I will repeat it again. But either way, I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. For those who are also new to the stream, we are doing Win Streak Wednesday today, meaning that we are going to be playing nothing but the Doc himself, where we are going to be attempting to get to on a 10 win streak, at the very least, by the end of today's stream. Or close enough to where you can finish them out. We have some other killers that are pretty close. Let's see, we have Spirit at 5, Demogorgon at 6, Huntress at 6. So they aren't too far away either. Ah, yes, thank you for that reminder. Let me grab that so Simple can get the VIP. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I did see it, then, like, it passed on by. I forgot real quick thereafter. Alrighty. All of our blood points today will also go to the Nemesis for obvious reason, as we're going to try and get him his ideal build, so we can do a Win Streak Wednesday for Nemesis not too far away. And Trix, thank you for also redeeming first, second, or third. I believe you are the last one for the day to get VIP. Alright, look-see. I really do adore this frickin' skin. They did such a good job. Yeah, I can't wait for more partnerships like this. I really do hope that they do more, more partnerships with Crypt TV. Like I said before, the Sunny Family Cult would be an amazing, amazing skin on, like, Legion. Stuff like that. I believe, Simple, you were second, correct. I think Hammy was first. It went Hammy, Simple, and then Trix. Last but not least. Queue times still seem a little bit long than normal for this time of day. I'd imagine that might be because less console players are playing, you know, for obvious reason, due to the fact that their frames are dropping like hot rocks, and no one really enjoys that, to be honest. I wonder if the Survivor queues are shorter than normal. I wonder if maybe more people are playing Survivor, or maybe just the absence of console has just shortened all queue times across the board. Normally when killer queue times are longer, that means that there's less survivors than there are killers. So theoretically speaking, survivor queue should be shorter. Could give that some thought. If the queues get too long, then maybe we might try out some survivor matches for the day. But we are in a match. That wasn't too bad, like 3-4 minutes tops. So let's ready on up. We do see a medkit as well as a flashlight. Not too bad. Now, I have an interesting question. If I were not to use Surveillance, because Surveillance really gets a lot of value as long as Ruin is up. If I was to not use Surveillance, what other what other perks could I use on Doctor? Of course, there are tear radius perks, like Distressing, for example, to increase tear radius for our Static Blast. Trying to think what else. I mean, theoretically, Disco could be of value. Distressing. Huntress Lullaby, in theory, could be used, but at that point, I'd want to run the full skill check build, which honestly is pretty fragile, so I don't know about that. Eruption, in theory, I don't know, I don't really care for it all too much, though it's not bad as well. Oppression, surprisingly on Doctor, could make sense, because as we pop and bop a gen, get unlocked, use Static Blast as a test to see who would be Starstruck. That's not a bad idea, yeah. Starstruck Doc is not horrible in theory. Oppression's also not bad with Surveillance. We do pop Oppression, because that way, as we pop Oppression to gen, we will see other gens either get hit, or at least hit with Oppression for the gen regression, and thus would be surveillanced as well. And basically, that would act on any gen currently not being worked on as a tier 1 ruin. That actually might be a better combo on Doc, theoretically speaking. Yo, what's up, Synth? How goes it? How goes it? How you doing? What other gen? Or what other perks? We might try Oppression, since if we lose this match, I'll try Oppression instead of Ruin, maybe. Let's go Disoe. And let's go to the middle of this area, like right here, then shock out. Nothing. So they might be further back in. Yep, we see scratch marks right there. Excellent. That's a Feng Min going for a light. Does she have life? She does not. Does she go for the vault here? She does. Perfect timing. And let's see where she goes next. Now, she might see my Ruin here, which would be unfortunate. If she's on comms, of course, she could call that out. And where are you heading off to, Feng Min? Dead hard, there it is. That's down ya. And let's pick you up. Let's bring you to basement. They are on middle gen, as we see there. They've gotten 1 gen already. That tells me 2 people on that 1 gen and or Prove Thyself. I don't think there's a toolbox in play, if I'm not mistaken. Now, someone was here, so let's shock out. Speak of the devil, and she shall appear. Let's hit the Feng Min. Looks like they already went for the unhook. That was Nancy. Let's give Feng Min control of pallet. And that will result in a down. Perfect. See, that's how you need to play Doctor in those type of scenarios. Now, I feel like I did hear footsteps. I was right. I did indeed. There's the insta-unhook from Nancy. Let's go for you thereafter. Ruin's still active, so we do see middle gen regressing with surveillance. And then the other Feng Min trying to take aggro, maybe? Or just running the wrong direction. I'm not entirely certain. She goes for the vault. Do you have life? You do not. Maybe a dead hard? Let's find out. There's dead hard, after all. We'll ignore that flashlight. And these type of loops here, we don't want to play around, honestly. They, more often than not, will result in her getting too much distance, so it's just better for me to break. Let's see. Nancy's over here. Let's give her control of pallet. She does not play around it, though. Instead, she lights out, or rather, vaults out. That's perfect. And should be enough distance for the down. Alright, let's bring it in the middle. And they do get another gen, though. Like I said, these guys are actually working on gens pretty well. I'm wondering if it's the Jill, and she has flashbang. Shock out real quick. Yep, there it is. She was on that totem, after all. Yeah, you get the drop, I'll break this. It's a really strong pallet to do. And let's see. Where do you go next, Feng Min? Looks like someone was here. Was that the other Feng Min? Good attempt at a dead hard, but you had to use it because you messed up on that geometry. Looks like they went for the unhook. We might be able to get her back there to pressure the heal. Let's do that then. There's Feng Min. I hope you understand you can take a secondary body block. She got off my shoulder pretty quickly, I would say. That would suggest to me maybe a breakout. At least it felt very quick. Alright, let's give you pallet. That will ensure that I get the hit. And if you want to play around that pallet, you can be my guest. Not that I think it's a good idea, Jill. She vaults out, goes upstairs, there goes Ruin, once again reliant on pop. Yeah, so maybe Oppression's the right move. Good vault. We do have another pallet. Let's shock. There we go. And down she goes. Let's see here. Right by basement. Wouldn't be a horrible idea, especially as I do see scratch marks going in this direction. Yep, they're on the gen as we speak. Let's hook. Let's shock. And surprisingly, we didn't get anyone. You know what, I think I may have messed up. Though I feel like, no. Isn't Doctor's ability in a cylinder? It goes up and out. It has vertical and horizontal. Hey, what's up, Senile Vet? How goes it? How goes it? Where do I rank Nemesis? Right behind Pyramid Head. At A rank, if not top B rank, in my personal opinion. He probably has one of the best anti-loop abilities. Now, I will say I agree with a lot of the criticism about the fact of, whatchamacallit, his M2 giving unnecessary distance to survivors, potentially. She's not dropping. Well, that's a problem. I really was needing her to do so. And that's where I need to know when to M2 versus M1. I need to get her to drop this. Thank you. That's what I needed there. Attempt at dumb tech? Not gonna work, though. The biggest thing of dumb tech to avoid that, what you can do is you wait at the pallet, see if they revault for another hit. And if they don't, you just turn around and hit them instead. I don't think I can reach the pallet. I can. That's awesome. I think that might be enough distance. No, it's not. She drops. Once again, the dumb tech doesn't work too well on me. All you need to do to counter dumb tech, guys, is if a survivor vaults you after a pallet's done, all you do is you wait for them to either wait a second, see if they revault. If not, you turn around and gain distance. Like, it's such a bad move in my opinion. It really is. Hi, Fangman. We'll hit you real quick. We'll pop. Let's static blast. That interrupts. No, it didn't. Did not interrupt after all. Fair play. Well, you go for this pallet. Let's give it to you. That shocks you, interrupts. I think you still get to it in time, though. She hesitates. Good vault, though, Fangman. Now, we're going to not go for her, as I do see this gen being worked on again. That tells me that Nancy no longer has Decisive Strike. Down you go. And let's break this pallet. Hey, that's freaking exciting, Senile. Yeah, those things have been out of stock for quite some time, to say the least. Alright, let's rehook you, then pop Jen once more. We're back on ratio, and having a survivor dead's a really good thing for me. Alright, pop. And let's chase Feng Min. I imagine that another Feng Min will be back on that almost instantaneously. And as I predict, was spot on. Give her control pallet. Hit her. Now, if I'd saved the best for last, that'd have been freaking amazing, I'll be honest with you. Now, this Fangman's here. I'm actually going to ignore you for now and go for this Fangman instead. Now, it sounds like she's back on the gen as we speak, trying to finish it out. There's the Dead Hard. Nicely done. That gets you some distance. Does it give you enough, though? Alright, let's pick you up ASAP. Hook and pop. Nope, that's enough time to get this. Perfect timing. Alright, let's hook. Let's pop. But we have another issue at hand. That third generator that we see over there, really bad place for it. Because Jill could be on that as we speak, and the game will be over at that moment in time. Yeah, she just bring me around for pallets and such. And like I said, yeah, these teams played smart. They're utilizing all of their advantages. Let's see. She's over here. Goes for the vault, maybe? Nope, she vaults out instead. Not like I'm gonna leave the Feng Min. Trade. Let's pick you up real quick. I don't think Jill's been hooked at all. I heard additional footsteps. Nope, no additional footsteps, meaning that Feng Min's out. I bet you Jill's over here with Feng Min. I see Jill, I see Feng Min, which means they're gonna leave the other Feng Min for dead. Except she doesn't. We're just gonna box her out a bit. Jill's gonna have to come in for a body block. We hit. The thing is, Feng Min didn't capitalize at all. Yeah, we ended up another 3K. And we're just gonna wait. Close one here, close one. Pop timers, 45 seconds. We are pretty quick on the hook. Hook takes about 3 seconds. It's gonna be a close one, honestly. It's gonna be a close one. She wants me to pick her up, I think. We'll wait as long as we can. She could have, Unbreakable, theoretically, and try and dead hard through me. Let's keep that in mind. Pick up now. Let's see. And verdict is no DS, so that is a 3K after all. I mean, we, once again, played a really good game, but we didn't get much value on Surveillance in the end. Yeah, I think Surveillance either needs to be replaced or Ruin needs to be replaced. I'm not sure which. Yo, what's up, Hunter? Goes well, it goes well. But GG, well played to these survivors. Trying to think there. What could have been done differently? Also, I was right about that breakout. I was dead on with it too. That might have cost me more than I realized on that hook. Unfortunate stuff. Trying to think though. What else could we use on the doctor? What else would either shore up his weaknesses or strengthen his strengths? If we're looking at the fourth perk, if we're not including Corrupt, Ruin, or Pop, or replacing Ruin with Oppression, what other perks work to his advantage? There is, theoretically speaking, Thrilling Tremors, which is what you can do what's called Shock and Thrill, where you shock and immediately then pick up with Thrilling Tremors to make it so that the gen's blocked off. So that could also hurt you, theoretically speaking, with Pop. I've seen some doctors use Save the Best for Last, which isn't bad in theory. Brutal Strength is actually not a bad perk on him for survivors that pre-drop. Or pallets where he just can't really work around. Distressing, theoretically speaking, as increases your terror radius by 26%. Just for the sake of simplicity, if you look at a 25% increase, that brings him up to a 40 terror radius, or 40 meter terror radius. Not bad, arguably. Though if you're running that, you might as well go full Starstruck build. Let's see, what else? Devour Hope, meh. At that point, you run Devour Hope over Ruin and run Undyne on top of which. We could replace, theoretically, Pop with Undyne or Ruin with Oppression. That's also a theoretical choice. What else? Don't think Monitoring Abuse would be necessary. Like I said, Save I've seen before, but don't really care for it all too much. Thrilling Tremors is okay in theory, but it's very dependent on how the survivors play. There is a Starstruck build. I don't really care for Eruption all too much anymore. Lethal Pursuer is not necessary. If we were to replace it with anything, Brutal Strength, strangely enough, might be the play. Or Distressing. Either that or also potentially Undyne. Let's go Ruin. It's so fragile, though, to go Ruin Undying. Because if there's a Totem Hunter, especially the new Totem perk, it could just be so bad. So in that case, let's try Oppression Pop. And let's do that. We'll go Oppression Pop instead. So we'll try this out and see how that works over Ruin. We'll just have to keep in mind that there's no passive gen regression. And the only real painful part, of course, is that full 80-second cooldown on Oppression. It means that if we immediately go into chase after, theoretically speaking, most chases you want to be as short as 30 seconds. It means that Pop will be up before Oppression is again. Theoretically, you could go through 2 to 3 chases before Oppression will be up. Probably 2 chases, I'd argue. You go for the immediate unhook, or go for the immediate hook, we go for the Pop Oppression, then 2 chases later, or rather on the second chase, you'll have Oppression up again, so every other chase, Oppression should be up. And that should give us some more reliable surveillance value. Though it means that we no longer get surveillance value off of the static blast. If the RCPD map ever returns from the rework grinder, you should play Deathslinger on it. Playing Slinger on it makes it abusive towards survivors. I can imagine that based on the long hallways. That would make sense. I mean, survivors can still, you know, dip, dodge, and dive as per usual, but I can definitely see that. I don't think that'd be bad. Though the only downside is it's a relatively large map, and him being a 110 killer can be an issue for sure. So I guess we no longer get surveillance value off of Ruin in the same way off of Static Blast, but at the very least when we Oppression Pop, we should see between 3 to... So on a minimum of 1 gen hit by surveillance to a maximum of 4 gens hit by surveillance. So at least that will give me good info to where survivors are. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll give me more reliable surveillance value. If they were to shorten the Oppression's timer to a similar timer to Eruption, Oppression would be so much better. Like, Oppression would become a meta perk, I think. Because on a minimum value of Oppression Pop, you get a 25% regression on 1 gen. On a maximum value of Oppression, you could get upwards of nearly 55% if, let's say, 3 survivors miss a skill check. It could be either 10 across 3 gens, 10 on 1 gen, 20 on another gen, or upwards of 30 on another gen, equivalent to more regression than a singular pop, which could be insane, to say the least. So, Oppression might be the move. But we'll find out. The only downside of Oppression, I don't think it gets changed by the modifiers on Doctor's skill checks, which kind of suck. You kind of wish it would, but I don't think it does. I'd have to test that more accurately to ensure, or verify at the very least. But with that being said, we see 1 toolbox, 2 medkits. We've had some really good games as Doctor, 2 really good 3Ks, but we just have not been able to close out with any wins thus far today. Let's see if this change from Ruin to Oppression makes all the difference. There's also the theoretical idea of running Surveillance as well. The only major downside of Surveillance is the fact that it requires you to be near gens, and if survivors are smart and they see Surveillance, if they know they're going to go down, they're going to go to gens that are either already finished or are an area that's far enough away from active gens. Once again, that really hinges on survivors being smart enough to recognize Surge is in play. Personal luck. Actually, no, that's luck across all survivors. All right. Then blood points otherwise. Sounds like a plan to me. Alright. All right. Well, let's take a look and see what map we're on. I do feel that maps do influence Doctor's ability in some cases. I'll say Static Blast is a universal information ability that can be used on any map for all intent purpose. The major thing to where we see additional value in his power is Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy only really being useful without add-ons on specific tiles. So that becomes the hard part. So let's see if we can, instead of getting a 3K, get a full-on 4K, or at least get a win at the very least. Now that oppression is in play. Groaning Storehouse. Let's go immediately to middle building, crack that door open, so we don't lose a chase later down the line. At the end of the day, one thing that I feel like a lot of killers miss out on is doing early game prep work. And this, in my opinion, would really constitute that. My guesstimation was going to be that they're on a pocket, but it looks like they're in this corner instead. Let's shock out. Get some tier up. They're on the T-wall. Let's push the Yoon. I was gonna say push the Yoon, but we now see Leon as well. Let's hit Yoon here, attempt at 360. She loses momentum on the vault, which is awesome. Let us immediately continue on her. See if she has this dead hard. She does. Drop her. And let's pick her up. And let's not pop that. Jesus, Mary and Joseph Christ. So, let me note something here. 60 seconds have passed. Less than 60 seconds in some cases. That thus means that there are at least 2 survivors on there. 2 survivors on one gen result in a gen being done in roughly 44 seconds. Now, Leon is also here. We're going to pop oppression first. That gets us surveillance on any gens that have been worked on, as well as that gen, of course. He vaults. He is predictable. He revaults, which means he's locked into this loop now. Let's mind game. Mind game. Mind game one more time. And he needs the vault now. He does not. He goes to the L wall instead. L wall, much easier to mind game, though. He's smart, though. You can see he's holding these corners. Alright, dead hard. No dead hard. Perfect. We see no gen surveillance, meaning none were worked before on oppression. Oppression has 40 more seconds. Now, roughly, let me see, that's roughly 30. Alright, we're gonna try and hold off on popping this gen until we can get surveillance going. Actually, you know what? No, we're just gonna pop it. Blast mine. That's 5 seconds. Yeah, let's pop. We can oppression that gen that we see has been touched. Let's get pop value. There's Leon here. Let's hit you. That's a different Leon than before. If we make this chase quick, then we can guarantee another pop oppression. He vaults. Yep, he commits to it. Do you have dead hard? No dead hard. We see middle has not been touched. We imagine that that corner gen has been, though. 10% regression would suggest just that. Let's head there ASAP, get a pop oppression going. That should get some good surveillance value on any other gen currently being worked on. We do see Jill at window. And we see Leon on gen. Not a great gen to hit this with, but oppression is oppression. It gives me info on any other gen not being worked on. Now we know where 3 of them are, meaning that there's a 4th one out there that is either not working on a gen or hit their skill check. And that's where oppression doesn't get value, is situations like that. Back onto an LT wall. Let's see if he falls for the same mind game. He's actually pretty good on the mind games now, I would say. He dead hard. Nope, does he not have dead hard? Am I crazy, or is that just the Yoon? Commit. He's holding these angles really well. So let's do this one more time. Let's mind game the mind game. Let's show red light. And do this. Wow, that's surprising. We have to push him into T-wall then. He's doing this really well. To the point where it's almost impossible for me to get him. He might be using stretch res. I just realized that fact. The way he's playing is so indicative to me to stretch res. Because, I don't know why, I'm wondering if Haunted Wolf might be a PC player. If he's not, I'd be shocked. That took me a full 80 seconds on that chase, by the way. I just want to point that out. Let's check this gen. A little work done on that. This gen has more work on it. That's perfect. I mean, if you want to do that, be my guest. That really doesn't do much other than wasting a resource. Oppression. No other gens have been hit thus far. Let's just check the gen on my right real quick. Yoon got hit. And gen has not been worked on. They haven't been working on a lot of gens, I'll be honest with you. Now, we do see surveillance on that gen back there. Let's head in that direction. Looks like oppression did hit that at the very least. Let's go for Leon. He'll vault right. No, he doesn't. That's shocking. And let's not go for Haunted. We knew that they're on here. We'll go for Jill real quick. No, Leon's still in this corner. Let's go for Leon as we speak. Yoon has not retouched up her gen. Yeah, you going back. Should be incapacitated for a bit. That might give me enough distance for a hit. Keywords, of course. Answer is no. We'll get you to drop it. I thought they fixed the bug that when surveillance ended, when a gen finished, that no longer showed up in yellow. I thought they fixed that. Static blast real quick. I saw Jill. Who's over here? There's Leon. We'll get a hit here. Let's oppression real quick while it's up. Yeah, it doesn't look fixed based on that information, I'll tell you what. 10% regression on the middle. 10% regression on that one. Let's surveillance this real quick. That's a vault out. They do finish another gen. As Hill gen. Want to try and keep this 3 gen here if I can help it. So I'm going to stick to this area. There's the vault. That's Jill. That's 2. And they haven't gone to that gen yet. She goes for the vault here. Look at our hit. Looks like they might be taking their time to heal up. I mean, they're in a good spot right now. So honestly, they can take all the time they want, and they'll be in a really good position. I need to find someone injured ASAP. Let's take a look. I think I hurt someone with moaning from pain. I did. Perfect. New vault. That's down you. Oppression's up in roughly 10 seconds, I believe. Yeah, 10 seconds. Let's hook. Well, let's wait for the gen. You see they're on a gen. Oppression. 10% regression. That's a total of 35% off of total. Let's head for this gen then and shock out. 2 people there. 1 person on the corner though. Let's commit to Jill. Let's fall off of her for a second. Go for Yoon here. That gen's on 2 still. Would like to get a pop on that if possible. We'll hit. She vaults. Will she stick on the tile or not? Let's get her going to other side. I see injured Jill on this gen as we speak. Let's get her on the LT. Try and mind game this. She goes on to the T wall now. She vaults again. Not gonna make it that time. Oppression's up in 20 seconds. So we can potentially hold off on our pop if we wanted. Or we can probably pop this gen, then go to middle, and then oppression. Yeah, I think that's the right move. Then go to middle. Oppression this gen. We see them on the other far gen. This should ideally hit them with oppression now. Let's see. Looks like it is regressing, as we do see surveillance activated. So where is Yoon in that case? Yeah, if Yoon's not on the gen, then she's probably on the other side. But she has not touched those gens either. Haunted Wolf. That's Mind Game. Mind Game to Mind Game. And down. Perfect. Yoon has still not gone for the unhook. And we don't know where she is either. She's not on any of the gens, as we don't see any surveillance so far. Interesting. So maybe Yoon is... She wouldn't be looking for a hatch. She finally goes for the unhook. Leon's dead. Yeah, I think oppression might be the right move. I mean, if it had a shorter cooldown, that would be amazing. Even if it's just by 20 seconds. It'd be freaking beautiful. Static Blast hit no one. We see scratch marks to the right. Looks like... They... Nope. God dang it. Again with that. I saw the yellow and I thought, oh, they must have just gen tapped it. Nope. Surveillance is broken still. That sucks. I saw scratch marks in the LT. That's exactly where they are. Demo vault. And both of them are going to now loop the same area, so it's a loop with friends scenario as we speak. One will go for the window, one will go for the door. Both go for the window, down to the Yoon. Alright, Jill, what's your choice? Will you get the Yoon, or will you die trying? Let's hook you here, break that pallet. That should help me out a wee bit in future chases. Don't know if that is just full regression if Jill touched it. Let's find out. He did not touch it. This looks like full regression across the board. Alright, we'll shock out in the middle, see if we can find Jill. Hello? I was about to say, I didn't see anyone. Did she get hit by Static Blast in a locker? I thought that wasn't a thing. I heard her yell, even though she was in the locker. Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't a way to avoid Static Blast on dock to be in a locker? Or am I crazy? You get the unhook, but it will result in a trade. She's on tier 3 now. Unless... Was she already on tier 3, maybe? That'd be my only other thought. Alright, well, we'll chase out Yoon at this point. And see how she plays Shaq. Surprised they did not shock her out there. Yeah, she's holding on corner specifically. So let's vault. Get her. That's number 2. Still in chase. This will be for number 3. Blocked out. Hide a red light. Go back around for a corner. Get her into the shack. Vault in so she can't re-vault. And since that's locked out, good job here. Oh, I don't know how I didn't hit her. That's so odd. Oh, we'll break. Could have sworn that I got the static shock there. Apparently, I was incorrect. Bounce landing, question mark? Nope, no bounce landing. No dead hard. All right, what's the verdict on the hook or the hatch? Let's find out. And the verdict is a tie. All right, well, in that case, we'll leave it up to the fates. Since we have Yoon in our hands already, let's kill her off. Sorry to say, Yoon, dem the brakes. So, Oppression did serve me pretty well that match, I'm not gonna lie. Is it a good Ruin replacement? Arguably, I would say no. Is it maybe better on Doctor? I would say yes. But GG, well played to these survivors. And Haunted Wolf is on console. I think that was the one that I've seen them almost play optimally is the best word that I can use. So they just played really well on those corners, just holding tight on them. And Potato Botman, thank you much for the follow. Welcome to Guilty Ones, my friend. Very happy to have you here. Thank you for the follow. I am Mark, aka Guildspire. I'm an educational killer main, here to teach killers how to play killer and survivors how to play against killer. You want Lady Demetresque hat and dress on Nemesis as a costume would be funny. It would be quite funny. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I knew getting that pizza would backfire on you. Ayo, what's up, Cake? Getting pizza, you say? What type of pizza, out of curiosity? Were you the Yoon? Or were you the person on Hook who died on Hook, out of curiosity? I think it was one of the Jills? Yeah, I think it was a Jill who died on Hook. Wasn't sure if maybe everyone took too long to get to the unhook or if maybe they suicided. Alright, let's throw another Survivor Pudding. I want to know how to play Trickster. Playing Trickster is really hard in my opinion. I'm still learning myself. Comfortability level for Trickster for me would probably be like a 2 out of 5. Though I can recommend someone if you really do want to find what I would refer to as a Trickster main. I have a friend of mine by the name of Little Rugard, who for some odd reason decided to become a Trickster main. Why? Don't ask me, but he is. So if you do want to check him out, I would highly recommend it. I do rate him on quite many of occasions. As a Jill, I got a large pepperoni with garlic on the crust, and I kept making mistakes during chase because of the grease on my fingers. Ooh. Yeah, that's why I refuse to eat food when I'm streaming. Or refuse to eat food with my hands at the very least. I'll eat some food. Like I have some Indian food coming right now, and I cannot wait for it. I am starving as we speak. But GG's nonetheless, Kate. GG's. Out of curiosity, do you stream? I do see Twitch in your name. I don't know, maybe is that just the name or if you stream. But with that being said, we are on to our next match of the day. I mean, overall, you guys played an amazing, amazing match. So I think you guys did overall really well. But overall, Oppression seemed relatively good that match. Seemed more reliable than Ruin, realistically speaking, and could give us some additional value on the pops. Like I said before, I just wish that Oppression's cooldown was shorter. Fair enough, fair enough. But does look like we have another TTV in lobby. I do think Giraffe might be doing their scrim right now. Let's give a shout out to Yikes FX Forever. Yikes Forever. Let's see if they are live. As a reminder, if they are live, please keep in mind not to say that you are from another streamer stream. Do not want them to think that it's cross-promotion or potentially stream snipe, of course. Just join them as a member of their channel and interact with them as per usual. Cannot speak for Yoon Jin person, though. They did well. I think Yoon Jin, also one of the Leons, did really well. They knew how to play around the LT walls very efficiently and forced me into some really awkward snares as I tried to mind game. I literally had to mind game my mind game, or mind game my mind game in order for me to get a hit on Leon. By Haunted? Yeah. The one on console. Was it the one on console or the one on PC? Either way, they did really well. They knew how to play those LT walls. So I had to pull some additional tricks out of my bag to try and get some distance. But would love for you and your friends to join the community if you are interested. Like I said, I am an educational killer main here to teach kills how to play killer and survivors how to play against killer. And I was like, well, me and this doc just went through a battle of the brains and he won. Yeah, no, seriously. Once I realized that he held those corners so tightly, I was like, okay, well, I have to try and figure out how to gain distance. And so I just try and repeatedly try and get him into a pattern of going back and forth, and then I just try and fake out the red light switch. And it worked out well. He got me on a few, though. Ooh, Gruesome Gatto. That will help us out there. Some additional blood points. I love to see it. We do need, I think, like, probably close to another 1,000,000 blood points to try and finish out. Actually, no, not million. Sorry. I think I calculated it. In order to get all the perks on Nemesis, it's 6.5 million last time I checked. Now, I don't need to learn anything, man. Been playing, watching this game since the beginning. Just couldn't play well because I've been doing non-stop COD designs for Dark Aether, so my DB skills and pizza were trash, so that's fun. Nah, I mean, hey, I fully understand that, fully respect that fact. But hey, you know, if you do enjoy the stream nonetheless, would still love for you to be here. And if you do pick up some tips and tricks along the way, all the better. And of course, if you do also enjoy some high-level DBD content, I also do have my own Dead by Daylight competitive league as well. The pizza was good, just the grease, the horrid grease cost me my life. Kind of worth it, though. I can see that. I mean, if it's a good pizza, can't complain. You know, to be honest, I haven't had like a good old-fashioned pepperoni pizza in a hot minute. Maybe I could get a slice or two. But we are on the cold tower. Let's take a look-see. They could spawn to the right of Shack. Let's just kind of take a peek. Don't see anyone right away. So in that case, they're probably directly behind me or to the left of cold tower. They're directly behind me. Shock out real quick. That's 1, 2. Don't know where the last 2 are, of course. And hello there, Jill. She's in a corner. Let's fake her out. And get a hit. Attempted 360, no dice. There's the vault there, I think. Yes, that is the vault. Let's not waste time and break the door. Pizza with one hand, control with the other. Sounds good, Cake. Sounds good. Look forward to seeing again in the fog. Now, did she drop down? I don't know if she did. Unless scratch marks just faded immediately. Yeah, they did. Unfortunate. I don't know, maybe she crouched and then dropped, which could make a bit of sense. Let's oppression real quick, get them off of gens, as well as get some potential surge value. And 1, 2, 20% regression. You gotta love it when you see it. And Cake, thank you much for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you much for the good look as well. Alright, there's Leon going to Shack. Don't really want to chase that. Let's go to this one instead. Where you see Nancy and Adam. We'll go for Adam. He has a sprint burst in hand. No sprint burst. Now that's surprising. Wrapped, level lab coat. Sounds good. I'll try and make that work. Good attempt there. We have 45, 50 seconds left. 40 now on oppression. Approaching 30. Your costume sounds good. If I don't have them, I should have some cells to make that work. Hi, Nancy. You want to try and take a body block? Be my guest. Not gonna be worth it. You get iframes, so I can hook through you. Lots of survivors forget about that fact. Let's pop immediately after. And then... Well, hold on. Scratch marks are on that box. Does that suggest to me she's here? No. Let's see. There's that gen back there. This gen here. They got Cold Tower as well. How long was that chase? At least 40 seconds. Let's check. And regress. Okay. Well, I have a gaming keyboard, which is good in theory. In execution, though, kind of sucks at times. Mainly because of the only one thing, which is a spacebar. The spacebar only has a middle input and not a left and right input, which actually is a lot worse than one might think it is. There's a skill check miss on the heal. Let's box out Nancy. And try and momentum her away from Shack. Excellent. We see them back on the gen there. Let's see if we can get her down. She has a pallet here. Let's show a red light. Show a red light. Oh, hello. Didn't expect that. Fake out. She commits. Let's shock through. Then back again. We might barely get that hit. Perfect. Pression up in roughly 20 seconds. 10% regression behind me, or a vault. Not sure which. Let's pop. Keep oppression for later. Blast mine. Good play there. They immediately get the unhook. Let's hit again. Jill's there. And then one person behind me. Let's shock out. We haven't done that in a hot minute. There's 1, 2, and 3. Look like a self-care. And Jill's back on the gen. Let's reapply oppression. Check whether the gens they might be on or are not on. And we do see 1 and 2. Let's push Jill in this direction. You drop it. You do not. Let's push you back towards. And we're going to forgo the chase on Jill. Need to check this gen. Yep, there's Nancy, as was expected. Drop the pallet, get hit. Get hit then. Go for the window, that's number 1 on the vault. You do not play around Shack, instead go for the LT wall. We're gonna go on the T, let's mind game this. Need to get her... I was hoping to get her off before the vault. That's number 2. That's number 3 in chase. Which means she has to go for another tile or the pallet. Let's pressure on the L wall. And she goes to next tile, which means she'll insta-drop pallet more likely than not. Do I get there in time? Yeah, we will. Wow, that was close. That was a close one. Do I drop chase here? I think I should. I think otherwise they'll get the gens. We see 2 being worked on as we speak. And we could interrupt that one to the left on time. That's really rough. That one there's on 3 cells, so let's commit to the chase for the pop. Let's see. What's the right move here? Drop it. You fall off of it. Dead hard. Dead hard. Drop him. Calm spirit, question mark? I don't know. If they're on comms, they'll go for the gen. I think I lose this match. This will put me on 1-for-1 on gens the hooks, but between the gen on the backside near Shack, between this gen as well, they've actually got some really good progress on these gens. So I don't know if I bring this back, I'll be honest. Surveillance goes off on the one in the corner. We pop that one, that's good. We see, I think, a Jill on this one. They immediately touch that gen, so this gives me info. She'll go for the L wall, let's fake. She goes for it, commits. That's unfortunate timing. Let's try and mind game the pallet, or not pallet, but the vault. She doesn't fall for it. I think I need to go back for this gen then. Yep, there's an apparition showing their location. Let's box them out. There's Leon. Nope, I want to momentum you away from Shack, but you're forcing my hand. So you'll go towards, probably go for the pallet and or vault. You can loop it 2.5 times before taking another hit. Let's see what you do. I also see them on that back corner. Mind game, he vaults. And I think I get the swing around the corner. Perfect. Oppression has 20 seconds before it's up again. We need to pop this gen 10 seconds before oppression's up again. We might want to wait for oppression. It's an argument to be made. Yeah, I think we wait oppression since that's now been finished. I was hoping to hit it beforehand and get them to aggressive. Oh, what the hell? Once again, I just talked about my spacebar being wonky. Great example of it. Jill hit her skill check. That's the one problem. If they hit their skill checks, then, you know, oppression doesn't do much other than when they're not on the gen. We need to ensure that we get this down ASAP, lest we see another person finish out that gen. thank you. I appreciate it, Potato. Yeah, mainly on Twitter, I once in a while post something, once in a while will retweet something, once in a while will, like something. Otherwise, it's more or less just a notification for when I go live. Are they on it? They are. There's Adam. Yep. I think they're on comms. Just based on the behavior shown here, it would be indicative to me to say that they are on comms because they are being very efficient on these generators and utilizing loops. You're good, Harpy. You're good. How you doing? Nope, not anti-hermetic syringe. Anti-hermetic syringe would have resulted him eating the medkit. I saw that there, and it really seemed like it. Going pretty well. Going pretty well. Trying to do Dr. Win streaks today, but that, on the other hand, not going as well. You should post on yours? Fair, fair. Alright, well, we're going to be looped over to that exit gate. Don't see any progress in the distance. Let's mine. Okay, don't even need to mind game him. Good, Dead Hard. Will you vault? You will. Let's box you in then. Let's down you and see if they go for some altruism plays. Farthest hook from both exit gates. Probably this one here on this tile. I would love to get him onto the hill. I don't think I can make it though. Let's put this one here. Let's shock out. There is Nancy on tier 3 now. Now, note that no one else was near us. We hit her. She momentums towards the exit gate. That's 99. We see what looks to be Jill over there. We're gonna go for Jill. That puts them into an awkward position now, to where they have to send someone for a unhook who's injured, and might result in another down because of it. So let's hit. Do you go for the unhook, Jill? There's Nancy. Perfect timing. Down you. Down you. And Leon went around the hill. Yep. Wait out BT. There's Dead Hard. Tell me he doesn't have BT anymore. Let's go for Nancy first. Actually, you're on my way. That was something. Let's hook you here. Honestly, I might wait to see if there's a Unbreakable. I don't think there is. There also could be a Deliverance. I might have to wait for the Deliverance. I don't like that idea. Okay, she's suiciding. No Deliverance. Nancy would have used Unbreakable by now. And we just brought this back from a loss to a win. So, holy hell in a handbasket. That was a close one. No potential deliverance from you. And we left Leon over here. If I was Leon, where would I go? That is the question of the day, of course. Would I go back towards this direction, try and find Hatch? Don't hear him. Hatch is now spawned, of course. Actually, Hatch already spawned before. They're dead on hook. Has Leon really found Hatch? Is he on it right now? That'd be insane. But that's not outside the realm possibility. Don't hear it. Haven't seen it. Still nothing. No idea where he is. Oh, there you are. Hi, Leon. Sorry it took me so long to find you. Oh, I just heard Hatch as well, actually. Holy hell. I might not get to this hook in time. That'll be a close one. Oh, that was a close one indeed. That was a close one. Hatch was on the other side of Shaq. I don't know how he missed that. I'll be honest. That's kind of insane to think about. That was a close one. But GG, well played to these survivors. Ooh, I see what happened now. Who was happy? Hold on 1 second. Who was happy? Happy was Detective Tap. I think Tap was the one who tried to heal, and I think he tried to use anti-hemorrhagic syringe and refined serum at the same time, which they overlap. They cannot be used at the same time. It would prioritize the refined serum if so. And we did see a styptic agent as well. Wow. When two TTVs go against each other, it's pretty common for us, honestly. We find a lot of TTVs. I love finding other people because then I can follow more people and, you know, each of our communities can kind of check each other out and see what it's all about. But GG's right there. That was pretty intense, I'm not gonna lie. All right. Well, we brought that back from the jaws of defeat, and that does put the Doctor back on a 2-win streak. I don't know what's up right now, but it almost feels like MMR has been turned on. As insane as that sounds, it feels like MMR has been turned on because, like, all of our matches have been really, really tough. Like, no... Oh, costume, yes. Let me do that real quick. Sorry, you were right. So, what was it? Pinchin, leather lab coat. Do I have the leather lab coat? I have Captain, Doctor, Project Awakening. So let's go to here. And Fallen, hey, welcome Raiders. I am Mark, aka Guild Spireman, educational killer main, here to teach codes how to play killer and survivors how to play against killer. I hope you're having an amazing day. Thank you much for the follow. And Kush Wizard, thank you much for the follow, my friend. Appreciate it. And how was the stream today? Hopefully had a good stream there, Fallen. And apologies for the face cam. One thing you will learn about the Guilty One stream is that my drivers tend to go out on a regular basis, freezing my face cam. It is a fun time, but should be all good to go now. So we have leather lab coat. We have Pinchin. Let's see. Eyepiece. Is it this one? Pin cushion. Oh no, is it burnt pin cushion or bandage pin cushion? It was great today, thanks for asking. How's stream been going? Stream's been going. Today is what we refer to as Win Streak Wednesday, where I basically play a specific killer, try and get them to 10 wins in a row. And then metal bat. All right, where's the bat? Let's see, metal bat here, perfect. Awesome. Honestly, I kind of dig this look. It's not bad. I personally like the look-see, but I like it. Yeah, so far we're on 2 wins today thus far. What are your win conditions for the challenge? So our goal is to get a 4K or a 3K plus 1 hatch escape with no one else. Burnt? Oh, I thought you said bandage. My bad. I saw wrapped. Maybe they're, you know, I guess technically they're both wrapped. One's burnt and one's not. So there's wrapped and then there's burnt. Alright, there we go. Much better. With 5 gens complete count as win? No. So mine is a little bit more strict to where if they get all 5 gens plus a hatch, I do not count that as a win because they theoretically could have escaped via other methods. So it's a little bit more restrictive of that, of course. And of course, I'm also not using add-ons. There's a little bit rough on Doctor, I'm not gonna lie. Not having that high stimulus electrode or burnt electrode is a rough one for sure. But this will be for win number 3. You can actually take a look at both the rules as well as all of our streaks with exclamation point streak. Right now, I think we have 9 killers on 10 wins right now. And then, of course, the remaining, 15? Yeah, 15 below. We have some of them that have reached 10, but I've lost them. Like Spirit, Clown, Shape, Deathslinger, and so on. 69 at the end. Best name. Alright. Yeah, actually, I don't mind this look at all. Kind of looks pretty cool. I want to say some of these pieces were from a Rift cosmetic that I didn't have prior. From an old tome. But it does look pretty nice together. The burnt head does mix pretty well with that leather lab coat. And I mean, the bat's overall just a good item. Didn't fit as an Xbox gamer tag? That makes sense, that makes sense. Just a wee bit too long. Let's ready on up, double check, make sure we have our Survivor Pudding. Right now our build is Corrupt, Oppression, Pop, and Surveillance. We previously were running Ruin, but we found that it was getting cleansed too early and thus Surveillance was getting less value. And so I think Oppression, Pop, and Surveillance isn't bad. Doctor, of course, is a huge info killer, especially now. Alternatively, we could put back Ruin instead of Surveillance run Thrilling Tremors, which isn't a horrible idea. Use what's referred to as the shock and thrill method, which is you shock with Static Blast and immediately pick up for a Thrilling Tremors to activate. As another build idea. So we do find that Oppression's just not getting us the value that we want. We could potentially do that. Because the main benefit of Ruin is if Ruin is still up by the time you get people to tier 3, it means they need to snap out of it before they are back on the gen, which means that'll be regressing all the while. Let's remember that Hatch will spawn at Killer Shack. I did not pay attention to their tools, so they could have a key, theoretically speaking. DXS clan way back as DXSII little J. Man, I remember that when clan tags were a big thing. Yeah, I've never changed my name off of Giltspire. Giltspire has been the tried and true name for me for a very long while, since 360. And it's been that way ever since. Alright, Thompson House. I haven't played this map enough now to know what door's the kick. This one. I can already tell based on that vault. Let's kick that door real quick. And let's take a look around. They could have spawned to my left. Let's shock out here real quick. There's one person on this tile. Good, good, good. Suggesting he spawned over by Shack. Scratch marks go out, and that is a Quinton boy. Good news is he ran in towards the active gen instead of back towards the others. Let's try and mind game him here. He holds W. Did I see your name? I did not. Give me 1 second. Drop it. Yep, as was expected. Let's break. Let's maybe drop Chase and patrol gens instead. Yeah, let's take a look at this gen over here. I hear them on Thompson House. That's one person. Yep, let's shock therapy through. Also block off the pallet. Oh, Jesus Christ. How'd you get this gen done so quick? Must have been right on it. He may have spawned next to me, honestly. There's Oppression. That gets that gen regressed by 10%. Good, good. I would have went back to available gens, correct. I would not have chased into Corrupt. It's usually a bad move. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, that they're on comms. Because if they are, all they have to do is say, hey, my gen's 99.9, go back for it. But yeah, if someone runs into corrupted gens, you do not want to run into those. You want to run back to your active gens. That way you can patrol. Now, this pallet's somewhat unsafe against Doctor. You can do this. Let's shock. And go to the pallet, mind game. Quinton draw this early. He mind game, my mind game. He got good distance. He'll vault instead of going towards the broken pallet, of course. Yep, so we don't lose a lot of distance, but he's doing some really good chasing here. He knows what he's doing. Now he's gonna go for the vault again. There's the dead hard. Won't work, but that was roughly a 70-second chase right there. So that's not a good chase in the slightest, especially as we haven't hooked a single survivor. What other gens would they be on? Two-Sill is not a bad possible gen. Let's pop it. Let's shock real quick. No one. Could they be back over by Shack? They are not. Yeah, I'm what's referred, as I mentioned before, I am a educational killer main, so I'm here to teach ghosts how to play killer and survivors how to play against killer. Not on that gen. We found Nia, no sprint burst. She ran into geometry, so does not get as much distance. Might not realize that the pallet is gone. Goes for the vault. That's one vault. She'll go to Shack. 10% regression on that gen. That's good news. And she is playing Shack after all. We need to get her to drop this pallet. She went long side. Why would you go long side? I mean, it worked out in her favor. I messed up. There's David here too. Wait, are we doing a loop friend scenario? I think we are. Remember Dead Hard on David? He could Dead Hard for pallet. He's already worked on Jen. Yep, there we go. Let's down you. You made a mistake. 10 seconds left on oppression. I think I should be able to oppression pop. Hi, Quentin. How goes it? They're still on it. That's on Two-Cell. Yeah, his movement was not great. No. Alright, let's oppression pop. Get some other gens regressing. Let me bop you first before I do that. I'm not going to commit to the full chase. Let's hit you at the very least. Bounce landing, even more of a reason not to commit. Let's pop oppression, then go for Quentin after he shock. That's 1, 2, and 3 on the shock therapy. Perfect timing. Hit you. You go back into the tile. I think there's a pallet here. Yeah, we haven't broken this one yet. Mind game the pallet camp. No pallet camp. Smart. She'll go for the vault instead. That's number 1 on the vault. Let's remember that fact. What do I think of ghost mains? I mean, they're not bad. The biggest thing is that I would never recommend focusing in on marks. I'd recommend instead just using his ability as a stealth-based killer and going for basic M1s. I think that's the real play. Dead Hard might save you. No Dead Hard, instead attempt at corner tech. We have 30 seconds left on oppression. Let's hook you on the way. Yeah, we can get to this hook. Let's hook you on the way to the gen near Harvester. Only hits everyone in your tear radius. What? I'm confused. Are you talking about shock therapy, or someone just opened up a chest? Where was that? I heard it, but I don't know where it was. Either ways. Let's pop this. Yep, static blast, correct. Alright, now we see the benefit of oppression. All the gens at this point are pretty much hit with surveillance, which is great. Where is he? I didn't get much info with that noise notification. We see another surveillance gen over there. Throwing a flashbang. Oh, I didn't even realize, I'll be honest. Remember that he has Dead Hard. Pallet in front of him has no... yeah. Tile in front of him has no pallet, so we can give chase here. We also see 2 other survivors here as well, which is beneficial. Let's commit to the chase on David. Remember that he has Dead Hard, though. Let's give him control of the pallet and shock. Wow, that shock just takes so long to travel, though. He'll vault. Let's mind game him to the right. Press him to the left. And I didn't realize he would commit so far to that without vaulting, or threatening a vault. He has another vault coming up, though, or pallet, rather. Give him control of pallet. And we do not get around, so we need to break. Still hasn't used Dead Hard, but he's now in a dead zone. He doubles back. Yep. Dead Hard coming in. Quentin taking a body block. We're gonna try and ignore Quentin, but it might be difficult to do here. Yeah, he's just guarding. Crap. That's a smart of a solid player, though. Yeah, the David's solid. He's not falling for mind games often. He's on tier 3. We're 1 for 1 on gens the hooks. It's not ideal. I need 2 more hooks to be on ratio. What other gens were they on? They're on this one. So let's head to this gen real quick. Let's shock. There's David. Let's not go for him. Secondary scratch marks. That's 1, 2, 3. Let's pop oppression. Oh, we have the chance. Let's go for David. Apparition shows up. Yep, should not have hesitated on that pallet. So I view my success as a killer in 2 parts. I look at how many hooks I have to gens. So in this case, I currently have less than, or I have above what's referred to as a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 gen for every 1 hook. Now, ideally though, I want what's known as a 2-to-1 ratio. 2 gens, or 2 hooks for every 1 gen. That is my ideal. That way I can guarantee that by the time that they necessarily get to 5 gens, I could potentially have 10 hooks. Meaning that, theoretically speaking, there's either 1 survivor left with... Hold on 1 second. Just want to check then. Either 1 survivor left with 2 hooks left, or 2 survivors left with 1 hook each. I don't know what you were thinking, Quentin. DS? Nope. Should make it so that Legion Killer should have Joey and Susie, all of them, to be options. Don't have to buy them. I know that there's a few as default, but yeah. No worries. Shock again. That'll put them in tier 3. That's 1 and 2 in tier 3 now, meaning that they can't heal or work on gens as we speak. So that's actually really good news. So even if they go for the unhook, theoretically speaking, they can't actually do much about it thereafter. That's actually really good news. It's be smart for them to snap out first. You vault, go to the right. Nope, you go to the left. And dead hard. No dead hard, down. Perfect. We are now on a 2-to-1 ratio, so we're in a good spot. Nia has snapped out of it. That gen's still regressing. They get the unhook. We'll go immediately to that. I'm not a moth. Thank you very much. BT. Still not a moth there, Nia. Sorry to say. Ain't gonna work out too well for you. Still not gonna work out too well for you. Can you adjust your killer in-game on PC? I see some settings like killer sensitivity. You can adjust some things, but not all things. I don't know how I missed that. That was a false hit. Drop it. Yep, you want to blind me? No, you don't. Disappointing. Let's shock you out so I can know directionality. That puts her on to tier 2 and goes around Harvester. Let's see if you dive back or dive onto. You dive onto bounce landing, question mark. Bounce landing is a yes, but you're in a bit of a dead zone. No one's on that gen. Pop is up, but surveillance is up as well. Yes, you should be able to do so. Worst comes to worst, what we can also do is lower your DPI settings on your mouse manually through a Windows 10 menu. That's also an option. Alright, let's patrol gens. They're back on that gen, as we can tell from surveillance, so let's go back for that. Still debating whether or not surveillance or thrill is the right move on Doc, I'll be honest. Yeah, I'll show you after this match. Looks like surveillance goes off on that gen. Tell me that one of them is going for the unhook as we speak, more likely than not. Let's see if that's the case. We see scratch marks, but then they stop and double back. Probably because they saw me cutting them off. There's blood on the ground, showing that's the Quinton. Stun gun would be a cool one for Survivor for a new item. I can see the argument for it, but the thing is that killers are already what I refer to as disenfranchised, to where they already struggle against good survivors, and anything that can stun the killer willingly throughout the match, honestly, is a little bit too powerful. Really good use of that flashbang. Too bad I know how to navigate while blind, so not sure it's that good. He commits to the vault, and immediately gets downed off the stun. I think what they did to the blast mine and the flashbang, honestly, are really good stuff. Because, like, right there, I didn't even realize that he dropped the flashbang. That's really good use of that. Surveillance is still not fixed, as that showed yellow once it stopped regressing. Only 2 people left means that they can get hatch. Blast mine feels bad as a new killer. Yeah, I can see that. It is really rough, to say the least. Let's chase out Nia. I'll 2-kick and it slows down my kicks. Yeah. I mean, it gives you a stun for 5 seconds is how long that takes. So you get a 5-second stun. So you want to be mindful of that fact more often than not. And let's go through here, cut off a bit of distance. We have a Static Blast ready to try and find Kate. And since I did not run a pull, I guess I'll leave it up to the fates on who finds the hatch first. Looks like there's been some work here. That's on Kate. Now, I think she may have gone into a locker. Let's just take a quick look. Nope, she didn't. She vaulted out, probably a slow vault, and then is going for the hook. This will not result in a trade. I don't have the distance for shock therapy. So instead, we'll miss our hit. Hit there, and Kate has a pallet. Yeah, she has a pallet down. I didn't break this one. A little bit rough. So she can play around this pretty freely. And I have no way to really get there in a reasonable amount of time, so we have to just push her on that. And I think we break it. Surprisingly, if this pallet's already pre-dropped, I would say that's a really, really strong pallet. Because that gets you a ton of distance and no real counterplay for a killer to play around. That is a rough thing indeed. Now we saw blood diving back here. And then must have went into the tile and went around. So, almost lost there. That's a good job. She'll go for the vault as pallet's gone. Yep, there's the vault. That's number 1 in chase. That's number 2 in chase. And will be number 3. That'll be number 3 in chase. She's now locked out. No pallet in this tile. I don't think that she can really get anywhere. Yeah, I think this will result in a down. And I'll give credit where it's due. These survivors are playing well. They're playing smart. Let's hook you in middle and immediately shock out for info. Sounds like Neo's on this gen. Well, the biggest thing is there is, you know, reasons to complain on both sides. Don't get me wrong. The biggest thing is, though, that survivors at the highest level of play are stronger than a killer. That's just a matter of fact. Started playing this game as Survivor, played hundreds of hours before I played Killer. Honestly, it's a good way to do it because you learn how to, if you know how to play as a Survivor, you'll learn how to play as Killer. But GG, well played to these Survivors. So I play Dead by Daylight at a pretty high level, mainly due to the fact that I also play competitive Dead by Daylight. And so I can see the arguments being made that killers are strong at times. But there are what I refer to as the top 8 killers that really demonstrate how you know, how strong killers are. You know, I'm talking of, you know, the S tier, your Blights, your Nurse, your Spirits. The A tiers, the Onis, the Pyramid Heads, the Nemesis, Hag, Twins, and the like. Those are the top 8 killers, theoretically speaking. Also, where you find killer controls for sensitivity, you have your mouse right there, and then also a control if you play controller. But realistically speaking, if you're not playing, let's say, an S-tier Spirit or S-tier Nurse, even maybe an S-tier Blight, fact of the matter is that survivors can play around the killers at such a high level that a killer will never win another match of Dead by Daylight. All good, Wizard, all good. But with that being said, it's interesting to me on both sides because I can see the argument for a Survivor's side on an average player's level. And I think that the issue isn't necessarily that killers are stronger than the average survivor. I think the issue is matchmaking. I take the personal stance of Otofu and of Dowsy that when we look at the mass majority of players, which is, I'd say, between purple and red rank by the end of the season, the problem becomes that the skill gap between the highest level of player who's in red rank and the lowest skill level players in red rank is so large that at times the best killer can feel like they are overpowered, or the best survivor can feel like they're overpowered if you're playing killer. And so because of that, it creates this dynamic to where we think, oh, well, one side is better than the other. And that simply isn't the case. It's simply that in many cases, the people that you're going up against could have highly varying skill levels. And I will say, if you place the highest skill level survivor against the highest level killer, then I would say that survivors are always going to beat the highest level killer unless they're playing a nurse, unless they're playing a spirit, unless they're playing a blight. Simply because that if a survivor, as we've seen in some of these chases, is able to go, 80 seconds or more, then you're going to see between let's see, probably 2 to 3 gens gone. Each gen takes 80 seconds. If you have one chase, just one, that goes 80 seconds, and 3 survivors on 3 separate gens, that results in 3 gens being done if they're all on gens hitting their skill checks. Plain, pure, simple. If you have 1 survivor on 1 gen and 2 survivors another, 1 gen's finished in 80 seconds, 1 gen is finished on 44. They can then jump onto another gen, that's still 3 gens. Now, of course, the penalty makes it so that they waste 8 seconds. Still, really, really strong. So, in my opinion, are survivors stronger than killer at the highest levels of play? Absolutely. On an average level of play, there's a give and take. Some matches you'll find where they're stronger, some matches they're weaker. It really is dependent on, the skill level of the person you're playing against. That's why MMR is beneficial, as long as it's a broad MMR system and not a pinpoint accurate system. Because if you're making it pinpoint, then killers like myself are going to go against high-level survivors who know what they're doing, which is great, makes it a challenge for me. I love it. But at the same time, it means that I will probably never win another match of Dead by Daylight. Knowledge is 100% power. How to use your power effectively. As a killer, you need to have information on everyone across the map. You need to know what gens have progress, what gens don't. It's why info perks are so influential. That's why I play things like surveillance. Did I see a crow go off here? That's why Dr. Static Blast is, good. Because knowledge is 100% power. Short red light. Gain distance on the vault. No survivor redeems today. That is correct. Today is Win Streak Wednesday, so all Doctor all day. Where does he go out? He goes back out to the right at the vault. He leaves Tylevo. Will you play the pallet? No, you don't. Will you play the vault? You will. Balanced landing and or life. No, a dead hard. Yep. Understanding based on the way that people play what perks they have. But not nurse, sorry, I read nurse. Knowledge is power. There's no argument there. Knowing the timing of things, knowing cooldowns. Like, for example, it's been 60 seconds since I finished that, or it's been total 60 seconds. Because they finished that gen, that means that 2 people jumped on that one gen. Meaning that there's 1 survivor near where I just was who's going to be going for the unhook. That is the information that I gathered from that situation. Because that was less than 80. Unless there's a toolbox, but even a toolbox would not be that quick. I will note that this Felix is suiciding, which means he has 60 seconds left on his hook state. I don't know why I suicided there. I'm not going to go for you. Let's go for the... Nope, he does not go for the vault. Hit Leon, perfect. Yeah, I feel like Felix has chosen death. I think you're right. Which means next time I see him, I'm going to kill him off. Vault is on the left-hand side. He commits. He has pallet on this side. Will he drop early? He does not. He vaults again. Which means unless he has a dead hard, and even if he has it in some cases, I think this will result in a down. Perfect. No dead hard based on the fact he 360'd. Got by DS when I had like 1 second left on it. Came in the chat to tell me that's an oof. That is an oof. 10% regression on that generator. Oppression has 10 seconds, if not less, on that. Let's shock out for info. They got middle, though. That gen is a good pop target. Let's pop it. Immediately go for Felix. Kill him off. He no longer has DS. Scratch marks go out this way into this tile again. And then they stop. Abruptly. Surveillance will demonstrate that they're on the gen. No. God dang it, Surveillance. Surveillance is busted right now to where it shows when... Who is that? That was Felix who vaulted. Why? Why would you give me a noise notification when I didn't have you in my line of sights anymore? He'll go for the vault. I don't have enough time for shock therapy. Show red light. Fall back for distance. He did not fall for it. The Luxie is amazing. I love this skin. Body block. She does not pallet drop. If she pallet dropped, she would have made it. Or would have extended for him. Flashlight save? No flashlight save. They're on that gen again. Oppression up in 20 seconds. Sorry, Felix. Sucks to suck. That's why I don't try and Kobe, mate. Let's pop. Not really worth it to pop that. Let's check this gen. We saw Serena on this side of the map as well. We're gonna try and keep the gens over here since the other two are split pretty heavily. Perfect. That's tier 1 on Serena. Well, that's oppression. If we have it, we use it. 10% regression. Don't know where she went. She was here and then she wasn't. Corner? No corner. Rock? Not at rock. They're still on the gen as it's not regressing. I mean, even, even if in jest, I would be careful of that behavior, Dr. Leaf. You know, I can understand you're joking. That's fine. That's fine. But GG's, my friend. GG's. Honestly, the main reason why I could kill you off there is due to the fact that you tried to Kobe. But hope you're having a great day. Alright, well, it's Arena. You just want to leave again? Not even mad? Gotcha. Out of curiosity, why did you not want to play it out? She's on pallet. Nope, she's on vault. Leaves tile. She has pallet here. Will she play pallet, though? She will. We'll give her pallet. Shock. And she goes back to vault/pallet. Does not hit vault, though. Instead goes for pallet. Oh, she reversed that. I was like, nope. Fair. Fair play. I know some people don't like specific killers, so that is fair. To be fair, your team's actually playing pretty well. I would argue if you may have been able to stay in the game, you guys might have been able to go 4-man escape. I don't know about now. It might be dicey now. Because I do have this 3 gen on this side of the map. In between getting them into tier 3 oppression pop, I might be able to work it out. Shock out real quick for info. That's 2. Yeah. Let's get that out of the game. All gens right now are in 0. One gen's a 1-person only gen. Another gen's a 2-person. Another gen's a 3. Let's go for Leon. He'll go for pallet. Let's give it to him. He makes a smart move and dives around. We'll dive back. See if we can mind game. 2 people going out. Let's get rid of the pallet. If we can make this side of the map a dead zone, we should be good. You will not be getting the new map yet. They've disabled it. Reason being is that they had some load time issues. People were crashing out. Mainly console people, I think. We'll hit. We see Quentin and Zarina. You want to drop pallet? They do not. Let's see if Leon's still here. Shock out. I mean, I can see the argument to enable him PC only. Now, they're doing something smart here. They want me to chase. If I hit Quentin and don't commit, it results in a situation where I don't get value. Leon healed himself, meaning he wasn't on gens that entire time. They recognize that their pallet's here, not on the side. That created a dead zone of sorts. Let's down you real quick. We need to go back to the other side of the map ASAP. This was roughly 20 seconds after he saw the heal on Felix. What gen would he go on? Right hill gen, single person gen, or left? Let's find out. Let's check right gen first. Not single gen. We saw crows go off on left. And Leon is here as was expected. Pika suiciding, question mark? Let's pop oppression. And that is Zarina on the unhook. That then shows me that no one's on the other gen. Saw scratch marks, then they disappeared suddenly. Do I think they're still here? Yes, indeed. Don't need to shock out to get that info. That gen's fully regressed based on that surveillance. That gen has not been touched. He will vault. Revault. That's 2 on that vault now. They're back on that gen as we speak. Leon vaults the L wall. And there's Quentin as well. Dead hard. Nicely done. Which means only one person's there. I'll eat the DS. Let's test your theory, see if you have it. It's already been 40 seconds. Yep. So that was probably close to a 59-second DS if I had to bet. Alright, let's shock out Zarina. That puts Zarina on tier 2. They'll go for pallet, you drop, we'll shock. Let's push you back to the right. Let's manually regress this for now. And she goes for the vault, goes to the left, and still has a pallet here. That's actually kind of rough. Could Leon go back to his hill gen? He does, in fact, and there's Quentin as well, who are both injured. Okay. I don't know why you committed to that. Let's oppression. Because Zarina's going to go back for that gen over there. I imagine we'll see it in a second. Yep, there's a surveillance. We're going to go pop that gen. Maybe it would have been smart for me not to oppression that, theoretically. Quentin's now dead. We go back for Zarina's gen. We shock out, put her onto tier 3. So that way she can't heal Leon. And then pop this. Leon is back on this gen based on surveillance. Apparition's facing towards the gen means that she's heading back towards us. Alright, Leon. Let's show that we're going this way. Fake it out, though. He does not fall for it. And Zarina's back on the other gen. All they're going to do is go back and forth, so let's go for Leon. Mind game the window vault. Give him pallet. Looks like he left it entirely, which is good news for me, because I can then do something here. Push him towards Zarina as we speak. Zarina's still over here. So then we'll wait a second, keep an eye out for Leon on that tile. We'll oppression. We'll shock. Yep, that's what I expected. Leon's still here. Mind game for distance real quick. This is going to be dicey. They're back on the gen, of course. And I never broke that pallet. That actually hurts me a lot. She'll commit. I'm going to slug her. We slug her out. Leon gets adrenaline. We saw him back over here. Scratch marks, scratch marks, Scratch marks. Falling very faint scratch marks. I don't know if he fully committed to the location. Nope, he's right there. Alright, as long as Serena doesn't have Unbreakable, we should be fine. But how you doing, Ferda? Hopefully you're doing well. Alright, I think she would have Unbreakable by now if she had it. So no Unbreakable. And vault. Yep, there's the vault. Show red light, get distance. I really need to break that pallet. He might go for it. Good flashbang. Yeah, he was going to go for the pickup. We're not going to allow that. Good use of that flashbang, though. I will give credit where it's due, Leon. Not going to lie. Alright, let's pick you up and secure the match. There are, like, no hooks nearby. Good news is, there's basement. Yeah, honestly, I think we saw 2 people attempt to suicide. And nothing against you, Dr. Leaf, but I will say, I think if you would have stayed in the match, I think you guys probably would have gotten at least a 2-man out, if not maybe a 4-man. I am not going to lie. Now, I can understand not liking playing against certain killers. But that there results in a 4K. Not too bad. Well, that was a close one, honestly. They played really well. The 3-gen here we had was not the greatest, as you can see, as it's a line 3-gen instead of a, cluster, which makes it quite difficult. But inland, we are able to get it done. So I think that's 4 wins in a row for the Doc, so GG, well played to these survivors. Alright. And yep, I was correct in saying that is for our 4th win in a row. So then I'll be going for win number 5. Also, I'll remember to make a poll at the beginning of this match. For those who are new, what we do here is I do sometimes, or most of the time, put up a poll where you guys can decide the fate of the last survivor, whether they get Hook or Hatch. You can get 1 normal vote, and then you can vote either using channel points or bits as well. Once again, let's throw in a survivor pudding for some more blood points. And let's see if we can get our 5th win. Oppression's still doing some good work. Honestly, I think it might be better than Ruin and Pop with Thrilling instead. But it's hard to say, because Ruin is a really, really good perk. And if, let's say, theoretically, the entire match did not get Ruin, then Ruin would have done a lot more work than Oppression would have. The Shock and Thrill's not a bad build, but only if Ruin's up. That's the biggest thing. Ruin being up is the key to using Surveillance. Ruin is the key to having Thrilling Tremors be up. It's a rough thing to say on Doc, what the best build would be. Alternatively, there's always Brutal Strength to try and get through pallets faster that you can't really work around. Which shores up the fact that his shock therapy is not all too strong without add-ons. What else? Honestly, I don't know what else is just really good on him. I mean, there is obviously Ruin Undying Surveillance, so that way you get some more Ruin value, but that can be pretty fragile. There's a lot of different things to consider in this case. I'll be honest. No Hunter, there are not. I don't know if you missed it earlier, but I did mention that today is Win Streak Wednesday, as per usual, so it is a full day of Zadokta. We're going to be aiming to try and get 10 wins in a row if we can help it. Going to be easier said than done, though, I'll be honest. Doc is good in the fact that he gets a lot of good info for Static Blast, but other than that, it can be quite rough at times with no add-ons. All they need to do to really buff Doc is to give him his high stimulus electrode, and he's in a really good spot. You definitely move up a tier, if at least up in the tier list at the very least. Alright. Let's see what map we end up on today. And it is Rotten Fields. We're getting a lot of Rotten Fields today. I don't know why. It's not a horrible map. It's not great either. Based on info. Let's take a quick peek. Crow's not been disturbed there or there, suggesting not in that location. Crow just got disturbed there in that tile. Let's shock out then. There's 1 and 2. Perfect. Let's try and not lose him in the corn. Freaking corn blindness is real. Now, there were 2 people there, suggesting one person might go back on that gen. She's running towards corrupted areas, which is kind of rough. Will she go for the harvester? Yep, nope, she's not. She's going for the pallet instead. No, she messed up there. She's not looking behind her much. I will make note of. Now she has the vault on her left side. That was a mistake. That was a huge mistake, in fact. Let's pick you up. Let's hook over by the gen that we heard him on before. That's on 2 sil. Just holding W, it seems that way. Yeah, she held W and then she went to middle. I mean, going to middle and waiting is a smart move, don't get me wrong. But she did mess up there. Alright. Looks like 90 seconds are up. That there helps me out a lot because that's 2 10% regressions. That's 20% off that gen, and that gen should have been done pretty quick. Let's shock out real quick for info. That is actually 2 people. That is Nancy and Jill we have. He doubles back. Let's mind game. There we go. No pallet drop. Gotta love it. She goes back for the pallet. We see, I think, surveillance go off behind us. Good vault. Or not good vault, but good dead hard. That's your red light. Your red light. Make distance. She'll have to go for pallet now. She pre-drops. Good break. And then vault. No vault. I was hoping that you'd vault there. Let's box her out. Goes up the harvester. Bounced landing, question mark. Perfect. Alright, Oppression has 20 seconds, moving on to 15 seconds until it's ready. We can go back to her gen and try and pop Oppression. Get that other gen that they've been working on regressing again. Let's do that ASAP. Let's see if it works. 5 seconds left. By the time we get here, it'll be prepped. And pop Oppression, so we get a gen regression off of it. And there it is. 10%. And we'll go back for that gen immediately. So we also see here this gen too. We'll get the hit. I don't hear someone else on that gen, but it's hard to say for certain. A lot of noise going on there. She does not go for the pallet, surprisingly. And even decides the gen tap. Kind of a bold move there, Jill, I'll be honest. Drop it, you get locked in. She is not vault. I was kind of hoping that she would. They finished that other gen that we heard before with surveillance. That pallet's already gone. Looks like she's going to go to the right, maybe? Yep, that's exactly what she was doing. With this pallet gone. Unless she has dead hard. Yep, there's the dead hard. I was going to say she doesn't get it. She goes back. And they get another gen 2. I mean, they're doing a good job here. They're extending chases pretty well. As we saw Oppression there, that was probably like a 60-second chase. So good job on their part. Let's pop Oppression again. 1 hook up. Okay. Yep, I think that there might be the game. They've been cranking out gens left and right. Honestly, I don't even think Ruin would have helped me here. So that's rough. Let's see. They're going over to a regressing gen. That's fine. I might take the moment to shock out here. We did see a second person on that gen, which means we need to pressure him this location. I can't be passive here. I'm gonna be proactive and get Nancy towards this gen ASAP. She'll vault. That's number 1 in chase. Will she go for it again? She will not. She does not drop, though. I do not respect that pallet. We see them back on that gen, too. Corner tech. That's 2. She might go for meat tree now. She does not go for meat tree. She'll go for the 3rd vault, probably. Or the pallet. Let's mind game it. And we see her going back for it again. Once again, mind game. She respects the mind game this time. And I think that surveillance gen that we saw, that might just result in a gen pop. I think we need to leave this chase. She's on meat tree. Can she loop that 2.5 times? That's about 25 seconds, roughly. Shock's not ready. Shock now. Interrupt. Oppression. That's 1. Second one's behind here. 10% regression on that gen. It didn't have much progression anyways. So kind of a moot point. We need to keep an eye out for that. The smart move for them would be to not touch it. Because if they touch it, I can pop it. But honestly, they're probably going to finish out another gen momentarily. We're 1 for 1 on gens to hooks, which is good in theory, but bad in practice. Let's get you off of that. Can I get back there in time? I don't think I can. Yep. There they go. I mean, these are the type of matches that I'm talking about where survivors just play so efficiently that you really can't do much. Like, honestly, in my opinion, a good match for a killer against good survivors is 6 hooks. I'm probably, at the end of this, going to get 5, if they're altruistic at all. But I think that what they're doing first is going for the execates. Looks like Nancy's on meat tree. Jill's going to be on that execate. We see an apparition moving away towards that tile. Scratch marks going for the unhook as we speak. Let's shock therapy. Might be able to throw. Nope. Not enough time. There's Jill. You go for Jill now. Yeah, at most I get 5, maybe 6 hooks. Nancy here as well. They dropped pallet. They hit. She didn't expect that pallet to be dropped already. We'll break. Last time I checked, execate in front of us was not being worked on. But I bet you Lori's probably on it now. Let's take a look. Answer surprisingly no. He's on this pallet. Mind game it. Perfect. That hard won't save you here. So now we might be able to play off the altruism, but that execute there is going to be finished. I mean, it's gone. They're on this execute. There's Lori. Unfortunately, we do need to recognize the fact that execute does not count as an objective action, meaning Lori could more than likely not have a DS enhance still. Scratch marks and blood go towards Shack, if I'm not mistaken. Let's hook. 5 hooks here. Let's shock out. No info. I'm betting this execute is already 99. Verdict is big fat yes. Skin you were wearing? Or any you like? Sounds good. In that case, I'll do that I mean, the Looksy or anyone? I could do another doc. I have another doc skin that I like as well. She might have vaulted in and is holding on for the unhook. Did I see them? Yeah, I did. Going around this way. Yeah, there's Jill. Show the red light. Vault back for distance. She has pallets still. Will she commit? Nope. I hit her, though. She momentum's towards the execute. We see a person in corn. There's Jill. She has to go for a trade. Perfect. Let's pick you up. Be forced an unsafe unhook. which is what we need. Nope, we don't even need to shock out. We saw scratch marks. Wait out 10 seconds on Nancy. They're forced to take a body block if they want Nancy out. Yep. So we'll box Nancy in. She has dead hard, remember that fact. There's the dead hard. We break. She goes where? She goes towards Shaq. Shaq's health still up. We shock. Let's pin her in middle. Down her. What's the right move here? Gate opens. Yeah, there's no real way to recover this. We go for Jill. We hit her. She momentum. No, I think we can get her. No, we cannot. I can. There's no way. There's no way we can get her in time. I think she has a dead hard. Let's pick you up. And let's drag you further in. If you're not dead on hook, this really makes them make a choice here. This is probably one of the furthest hooks from the execates. At least from that far one. But you're dead, so we'll end the game with 7 hooks, 1 dead. I mean, like I said, against a really good team, 6 hooks is honestly really good. And they played efficiently. They sat on gens. They didn't do inefficient things. You're already in execate. I don't care about you. 1 person out. I mean, at this point, if I was them, I would just leave. But maybe they're doing something strange, I guess. Let's see. 2 people in here. Yep, 1, 2, as is expected. And, yep, that's the match. Oh, rough one, rough one, rough one. But GG, well played to these survivors. Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, I don't know what else we could have done there. It's a rough decision to make in those type of scenarios, because you go into chases, they go for longer chases than you want. Ideally, you know, a killer wants to be in a chase for only 30 seconds or less if you can help it. Anything longer than that is just wicked punishing. Let's do this. I'm going to change it up. We're going to go back to Ruin. But we're going to switch it up to Thrilling Tremors and seeing how that works. So instead of Surveillance Stock, we're going to go use what's known as Shock and Thrill. And I'm going to change out to the Foul Bile, which I really do love this skin as well. Looks pretty nice. Oh, I actually like wearing Project Awakening on that one, I'm not gonna lie. Project Awakening with the Foul Bile just looks really nice. Imagine this dude chasing it down a freaking hallway with a spiked club in hand. Terrifying that would be. So what can I do to change the playstyle of Doc to be more advantageous? One could argue that I could use shock therapy more often. The only hard part is that to use shock therapy, you need to be in distance. By the time you're in distance, most of the time they're at a vault or a pallet. So in order to use it, you need to give control of certain pallets, so that way if they don't pre-drop, you get a hit. And that's not if they're leading their momentum. So if they just continue looping and you shock, then they'll get that distance they need to re-loop. Static Blast is good, also getting them into tier 2, tier 3 as soon as possible, so that way they get hit skill checks, that way you get apparitions. Those are also good plays. But if they just sit on gens, then it doesn't matter. Even last game, I think if I had Ruin in play, I don't think it would have meant much. I think that Ruin would have just meant that I would have gotten some regression on certain gens where I wouldn't have to pop them, like the gen that went off behind me when I hooked, hoping for pop. Maybe with Ruin, that would have got more value. So is the real issue with Doctor right now for me my lack of chase ability. I mean, right now, theoretically speaking, he's an M1 killer with the ability to get info at a moment's notice within 32 meters. Basically, a reverse barbecue and chili. As long every, I want to say 60 seconds? Yeah, I want to say 60 seconds. Something to that degree. And he has anti-loop. But anti-loop is only as good as the loop that you're on. It's not good on every loop. Short loops don't matter. It's all about the size of the loop. It needs to only be small loops. Otherwise, this anti-loop is pretty much null and void. And we're heading to Leary's. There's some decent loops that we can use shock therapy on. Not many, though, I'd say. Which will make this a wee bit difficult. Criminy. We could also try, instead of thrilling Shremmer's build, we could go surveillance and stick on Undying. But I feel like that's so fragile of a build, especially with so many totem perks now. The new perk from Jill is really good, in my opinion. I don't know if it's better than Detective's Hunch, theoretically speaking, but if your job as a survivor is to kill every totem at the beginning of the match, I mean, as soon as you find a dull totem and you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean, they can be gone pretty quick. First, I still think Detective's Hunch makes more sense, but that's personally me, because it incentivizes you doing gens and then totems thereafter. And personally, I'd never go for totems unless I know there's an active totem that I'm really worried about, like Ruin, like Devour. If I see a totem and don't know what it does, I ain't touching it unless there's an unless. In order to avoid Haunted Ground value, one thing survivors can do is pop Haunted Ground while they're chasing a survivor who's already injured. It's actually something that's really smart to do, in my opinion. Our totem's back in the Corrupted Gens. That's kind of rough. Let's go back here. And let's shock out here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome, that's a great start. That's one survivor. Surprising. Looks like I missed them. Totem's right here. Scratch marks. Hi, Nancy. Alright, she vaults, goes to the left. Let's cut through here. Give her control of pallet. She does not drop. Drops now. Yep, she's playing smart now. Ooh, good fake. But we had a fake of our own. That's down. I actually want to bet that someone's on my totem, though. I'd be willing to bet. And hooking her here is kind of rough, too. Let's break this. We see throwing tremors. There's no one on gens right now from the looks of things. That's interesting. Let's shock out real quick. I have a sneaking suspicion. Nope, nothing. So no one on gens. Let's, I guess, kind of just patrol. Yeah, because theoretically speaking, throwing tremors, what it'll do is it'll give you info on the active gens. And you also have info on everything near you within 32 meters. Now, there's no scratch marks off that gen. Yeah, it's worth a look. Alright, let's head back over here. She heals immediately, meaning that they weren't on the totem. But I think it will take us more than 16 seconds to get back to the totem. So if they jump on that immediately, that would be rough. I'm not going to go for Fang. I have another idea. Shock it. Yep, I knew it. Now, keep in mind that Nancy no longer has DS, since she did work on a totem. So I'm going to go for her. She vaults. Does she vault back? She does not. She's on pallet. Bad pallet to be on. So let's down her. I saw scratch marks there across from us. And is there a basement here? There is not. Let's not go through pallet in case of a power struggle, potentially. looks like they're only on that gen across from us. So all the way back into that little area I think that we were on before. So let's head there now with Pop in hand. And try and get there before they're able to finish. Let's shock out. That's 1 and 2. On to tier 2 now. Let's pop and blast mine. That wastes 5 seconds. Which means they can get a ton of distance off of us. Though I don't think they use that time wisely, I'll be honest. Alright, there's Fingman. She wants me to chase. Now, there's a reason for that. She wants me to chase, because there's someone else on that gen. I bet you right now. At Fingman. She takes control of Pallet again. That's a mistake. Results in a down. Throwing Tremors is not up, though, so we can't get value out of that just yet. But I bet you they've already touched the gen. Let's go back for it immediately. And sure enough, yep. How'd I know? I'll take Kate. Lithe? No Lithe. Let's give chase then. We have our static blast ready. No scratch marks going for the unhook yet. Where is she gonna go? She'll go back in, maybe vault. Nope, she's gonna go for the pallet. Thank you. I appreciate it. So let's do what's referred to as a shock and throw. There's Nancy behind us. And looks like she was not on any hook gens. There we go. Kind of faked that out so that way she didn't get this hook freely. Now I can get the hook. Let's break the pallet, and now I can go for Nancy. Which, by the way, Nancy's dead too, which is awesome. That's great for us. So you put yourself into an awkward position here. So you vault out to the left. You do not. You do not vault out to the right either. You'll vault that, though, and I think there's still a pallet here. There is. You'll go for it. And still on the pallet. Perfect. Let's break that now. And we're still ahead of ratio as we speak. So with one person dead with 3 gens left, we're not in a bad position, all things considered. Well, let's head over towards these gens. We do see someone was on it. That is Kate and Fengmin. Pull down Kate. And let's now go for Fengmin. She has a pal in front of her. No animation lock. Still blocked out for a little bit longer. Let's push her this way. Shock out. And I think that should be the distance I need. Kate's back up, that's fine. Thorian Tremors goes off, locking down all of the gens, and meanwhile, Fengmin DCs. Interesting choice. It's other Fengmin. She loses momentum, goes down immediately. And all that leaves now is Kate. So now Kate gets to decide her own fate on whether or not she will go for the unhook or go for the potential hatch escape, which has not spawned yet. I hear Kate. Nope. Oh, Jesus Christ, the freaking, oh God, the hook ghosts are back. Oh, that sucks. So they reintroduced an old bug again. It hasn't happened on every hook, though, I will state that much. We see 2 scratch marks. We go for 1. Wow. That really screwed me up there. Let's see. God Pallet they went through. Who? Oh, no, I know I'm chasing now. This is, Fengmin. Oh. That's all information I need. You know, that is fact. And she already touched a Gen 2, so that should mean no DS in play. When Shimmers goes off, is Kate back on that Gen? Nope, she's not on any Gen. Alright. Let's see. If I was Kate, where would I be? Are you trying to set up for the unhook? Nope. Nowhere near. Don't know if I disturbed that crow or not. I feel like I didn't. Crow's still there, so she didn't come this way. Well, I guess we'll let her get the unhook, and hopefully Kate will take aggro, so I don't have to chase the Feng Min again. Might as well pop this gen meanwhile. Doesn't hurt to do so. Scratch marks. Alright, let's chase these scratch marks. She'll get the unhook in time. We'll immediately go for Kate. As long as Kate doesn't disappear into the wind. There we are, Kate. Alright, let's go for you. Give Feng Min a little breathing room. This pallet's already gone. We broke that when we were chasing Nancy. She vaults out. No life. We'll take a hit. And where do you go from here, Kate? Do you vault again? Looks like the answer is no. Did she just corner tech? No, she went this way. I almost lost her there. The scratch marks kind of faded out. Alright. Let's make sure she's still here. Holy, what? Did she go into a locker? Oh, this is unfortunate. I actually just lost Kate. She made some good decisions there and dodging the right direction. That gives her the ability to heal up. No one's on that gen. Oh, this is a problem, ain't it? Because they can't exactly go for hatch escape with that dropped key without doing one more gen. Speaking of, looks like they were on this one. And looks like it's Feng Min again. There's the pallet. Alright, she's sticking to this. Oh, looks like she actually got locked in. Recommend save the best for last. Pop Eruption. Also barbecue for points. Another slowdown perks. Got 10 4K streak with it on rank 1. What, on Doctor or on Nemesis? I personally do not feel that Eruption is really necessary on Nemesis. I feel like Eruption just arguably might be not great in general anymore. What I will say is that I would probably end up running Corrupt, Ruin, Pop, and then probably Save as my last one on Nemesis. So pretty much everything you mentioned except for Eruption. Eruption's just not my cup of tea anymore. I like Eruption in theory because, theoretically speaking, can save in late game. It can. Ideally, though, I never wanted to get to that point. That's the hard part, right? I never wanted to get to late game. I always wanted to get to, you know, this point where I kill off the last survivors on 3 gens left. You know, when there's 1 gen left, I can absolutely see that. Eruption becomes very powerful. But in the mid-game, it's kind of rough. Mid and early game. These exit gates aren't too far away. We can probably shock out here. Wow. She's not on either exit gate. Hi there, Kate. How goes it? Where you heading off to? Unless you have that key, you ain't getting far. No pallet. Oh, no, there's a pallet. Lock her in, and perfect. But yeah, I 100% agree. Eruption can be really good late game. The main benefit of Eruption, in my opinion, is when you mix it with Pop Eruption, of course. What you can end up doing is you pop the gen, right? You get that 25% regression. It then primes it with Eruption. You go for an immediate chase that takes, let's say, 30 seconds ideally. You then immediately get that down, and it results in another 6% regression on that gen. You see if someone was on it, and, you know, then can get more info, or not even go back to that gen and erupt and pop another gen. I think that's the way to use it, theoretically speaking, but GG, well played to these survivors. Alright, and that puts Doctor back onto a 1-win streak. Not too bad. Right, we have time for, what, 4 more matches? So we're not going to get to our goal of 10, unfortunately. Kind of sucks. But at least we can try and get as far as possible. Did Thrilling Tremors help us? Kind of? Thrilling Tremors gave us info, right? And so it gave us info on everyone outside of our range of whatnot. Thank you for the reminder to hydrate, Frankie. I appreciate it. The max value of oppression, save, and pop going from 1 kill to wipe 5-hook spread among them? Yeah, it can be pretty insane. You think barbecue would be better? What, over Thrilling Tremors or over Corrupt? Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. That's why I'm not sure about that. The thing is, I normally try not to run Corrupt and Barbecue in the same one. Alternative option, and people will question this, is actually Brutal Strength. Yo, what's up, Potato? Welcome back, welcome back. Is Doctor does have all the perks, doesn't he? Trying to think here. What do we want to bring? Do we want to bring Thrilling again? Sorry, large by the food. Starstruck, Distressing, Calm. Yeah. The problem is that we don't run add-ons during win streaks. Yeah, what's up, Newsy? What, talking about the blighted doc? Yeah, his face is pretty mean looking there, to be honest. Don't want to catch that charging down at you. Speaking of, I'm not sure. Do I want to use that or want to use Look-See? Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? That if I think if I were to, so Otstarva did make a thing. I'm tired of being farm, playing killer now. That's fair. That's fair. Doctor lacks lethality. Why say the best for last? If not one-shot doc. Yeah, that's true. The obvious downside of say the best for last on doc is that he can't avoid hitting the obsession in any way. It's why save is like a staple on Demogorgon, on Nemesis. Gonna send me your music playlist and Twitter DMs? Actually, if you want to do that, you want to send a playlist, you can do it in the Discord channel. We actually have a media channel where you are more than welcome to send that. Yeah, let's go Brutal Strength. That's the main, say the best for Doctor problem? Yeah, it is. That's the reason why I don't run it. I try, like, I love save, don't get me wrong. I love using it when I can. But it's such a struggle when you use it on someone who doesn't have a reliable M2, and Doctor doesn't have an M2 at all for damage. I can see the argument of Starstruck, since it does apply a little bit more lethality. Alright, you know what, we'll do that. I think after this match, I'll go into Blood Web and I'll grab Starstruck. I think that might not be a bad idea, in theory. %. Deathslinger suffers from the same issue as Doctor in a way. But Deathslinger can, at the very least, purposely break chain on Obsession to get them down a health state and then hit them, so that way they only lose 2 stacks, rather than 4 stacks on 2 hits. So that's another way to play around that potential issue. He still has more flexibility in that regard than Doctor does. I also unwrap my mango juice / smoothie. Very excited for this. I do love me some mango. There we go. They always wrap it in a way, though. Like, I wish that they had put, like, a piece of tape over the top so it wouldn't leak. That's the only downside. Perfect. Starstruck save and altruistic teams? Yeah, that can be nasty. No doubt about it. They could have spawned behind me, right back there. Let's check here first. I think I saw someone up in the coal tower, actually. 1, 2, 3, missing 4. Let's see here. Hi there, Jill. Don't mind me. Gonna break this. And let's go for Jill real quick. I imagine they're on that gen on hill. Yep, let's push them off with that while Ruin's up. That makes more sense than going for the chase. Box Kate in. And we'll go over the hill to make up distance. Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate it. Let's show red light. Fake out the pallet drop. She does not go for it. Instead, she goes to the vault. She has a pallet on her left and one on her right, but instead she goes to this tile. Let's show red light and vault for distance. I think she got too much distance on me. Should have faked back, theoretically. Sherrard light, hide it, and good attempt at corner attack. All right, let's get her up and immediately back over to the gen that they were on hill ASAP. As I imagine they're probably not off that for long. We can shock out to interrupt it. Yep, there is 1 and 2. Let's see, scratch marks going into this tile. Nancy's here, once again, Sherrard light. She sat on it, watched me do that. It was from a bad angle, so I can respect that fact. We'll break. This way we don't lose a lot of distance. They're healing underhook. Let's go for Dwight. And no one there. That totem, though, is in a god-awful location. And yeah, there's 80 seconds. Well, so biggest thing is about Corrupt. It's not about, you know, trying to help when in chase. The biggest thing about Corrupt is actually slowing down the early game. So as I've mentioned, each gen takes 80 seconds to finish. And if you make it so that they have to take more time to find a gen to work on, then you extend that time heavily. Would you like to hear it? What's the challenge? I'm curious. Let's take a look. There's Jill. There's Dwight. We'll continue for Dwight. We're going to see another gen pop, though. There's the vault. That's fine. Do you get to the pallet in time, though? I think you do. Fake our red light. You have the back-to-back pallet. We respect it. You might get back to this in time. Yep, he's realized what I'm doing. What's the play here? We see Kate there. We see 2 people on this gen. But with no ruin, this might be a problem. Only 1 can go through and vault. Let's hit you, Nancy. If you get brutal, you have to switch them to your most least played killer. It's funny enough, I don't really have a least played killer, to be honest with you. I play pretty much every single killer. It didn't shock her, surprisingly. Alright, there's someone behind me. Let's go to middle hook and then shock out the hill gen ASAP. Yeah, one thing that you will learn is the fact that I play every single killer, except on Win Streak Wednesday. Blast mine. They could theoretically finish this gen right from underneath of me. Yeah, that is a thing that can be done at Blast Mine. That was such a good play. I'll give credit where credit's due. It's like I couldn't do anything there. Like, I'm stunned for 5 seconds. I can't do anything except for swing. And like, maybe, yeah, I could have swung wildly and hoped for a hit. But I was trying to line up for the pop. That was such a good play. They knew the timing. You vault in. Do you vault out? No, you don't. Dead hard. There's the dead hard. Yeah, except that they use Sprint Burst to get to a gen. The biggest thing is they've used an exhaust perk, which means if I find them on a gen, I'm in a much better place. Corrupt is about slowing down the early game and making it so that you have more pressure in the late game. Let's break this wall. Yep, there's the unhook as was expected. There's Nancy and Jill. Let's go for Nancy, of course. You're on tier 3, which means you can't heal in the first place. You need to snap out first. Jill and Nancy are still here. Yep, not going for Jill. I'm going to go for Nancy. She's bringing me to a dead zone, though. I don't want to be here, but I need to get the down. Let's fake it out. She is not good for vault. She sticks middle. Break it. They'll finish Cold Tower momentarily. I give it 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now? Nope. I was close. I was like maybe 2 seconds off that. Rough. Rough, rough, rough. We saw a survivor here. They're gonna go for the unhook. Wipe, shock out, interrupt. 1, 2, 3 survivors. Let's chase. Wait, what gens are left? There's this one. They 3-gen themselves. 1, 2, 3. Theoretically speaking, yes. Does it help me right now? With no ruin, not really. We'll go for Kate. She's bringing me to a dead zone. Nope, she's diving back towards the active gens. That is actually really bad. You think Freddy would be better for Looksee? Maybe. I could see that argument, for sure. I mean, personally, what they did is great one way or another. Shock out. Locks in. Down. And let's say I heard a gen being worked on behind me. Where are you? Either ways, I just love that they did this collaboration in the first place, honestly. 2 sil on this gen. Let's shock out. That's Dwight. He's on 3 sil, tier 3 now. I mean that he can't heal or do gens. Let's go over here. You're still on it. That's Jill. I just want to bet she has Blast Mine. I bet you she applied it. Yeah, that's exactly what she did. Look at that. That's exactly what she did. Alright, pallet here. Mind game it. She still gets to the vault in time. By the time we get back to that Blast Mine, 45 seconds. Drop it. Break it. She wants me to chase. Probably because someone else is on the gen as we speak. Yeah, she's drawing me away, going from pallet to pallet. So the reason why I don't shock more is because it doesn't actually work 9 times out of 10 in situations like this. The reason being is because of the fact that Doctor's shock therapy range is honestly quite small. So it's only effective around certain loops. So if they already have good distance on the pallet or on the vault, they will animation lock. Meaning that, yes, you shock them, but you don't actually interrupt the animation. Correct. So the green add-on is really a make or break thing. Like, if we were to use the green add-on, it would change the dynamic of the game quite a lot. We'll hit you. That's a good body block. We'll go for Dwight. Nope, shock is not bugged to my knowledge. I could be mistaken, though. Because it still interrupts, from what I can tell. All they need to do now is take body block for Dwight here. Drop, we get to that in time. She'll open. If there's a person that could take a body block, then yes. Dead hard, he gets it. And 2 out. Yep, that's the game. I mean, they played efficiently. They used good loops. Overall, they played a really good game. That one play with getting a gen from underneath of me through a blast mine was insane. I have to congratulate them on that one. That was an amazing play. So, overall, they're just playing a really good time. But GG, well played to these survivors. No, Shock is not supposed to interrupt Dead Hard. That is not correct. Shock does not interrupt it. In fact, you can actually Dead Hard through a Shock. So that is, at least that's how it's been for a while. Now, theoretically speaking, that could have changed. Just got your first 4K of Trapper. Hey, congratulations, News. That's awesome. That is a feat indeed. All right, let's try Starstruck Doc, I guess. Let's get that out of the Blood Web. Entity hasn't spawned yet. That's fine. Let it eat this. There it goes. Alright, since we're on a 0, I'm gonna demonstrate something. Spoiled Fruit is pretty cool channel. Spoiled Fruit. I felt mean, but I didn't camp or tunnel. People just don't know to avoid vaults and pallets when it's Trapper, I guess. True, true. Alright, let's grab Starstruck. And then let's grab No Way Out. Alright, that's fine. Grab all the lower cost things first. You know what I want to do with 0? I'm going to do something. We're going to play 3 perks. I'm going to use 1 add-on. In replacement of 3 perks, we're going to use 1 add-on. I want to see how different Doc plays with 1 add-on. Just the 1 add-on, the green electrode. It's going to make a world of difference, I promise you. Have a good one, Killer. We'll catch you next time, alright? Hope you have a great day. That be thing went since its rework. It's mainly if Dead Hard mapped to the same button as Vault/Pallet Drop. That makes sense. That makes sense. But keep in mind that I can always remap Dead Hard. And I will say that I've seen people Dead Hard through Shocks all the time. Did I get sick of Nemesis already? No. Today is what we refer to as Win Streak Wednesday. So we pick a killer who is not on a 10-win streak, and we try and get them 10. Today has not been all too successful. We got up to 4. But we just have not been able to get consecutive wins on Doc. It's been rough. So, the biggest thing that we've been struggling with is not being able to really utilize our anti-loop on a lot of situations. Mainly because of the range of Doc's shock therapy. So, with high stimulus electrode, I want to see if this makes any difference. I bet you this will make a world of difference on Doctor. But we'll use it for 1 match, and I'll debate after that whether or not I want to keep on playing Doc this way and utilize the rule that I can give up a perk for an add-on. Because if so, then in that case, we might do the same for Trapper, theoretically speaking. Give up the 4th perk so we can use a Trapper Sack or a Stitch Bag. Also, servers work now, by the way. What do you mean servers work now? I mean Dead by Daylight servers or other things? All right, though. Let's see what map we end up on. Well, so how are you doing today, Carl? Hopefully doing well. What have you been up to recently? Anything much? Badham Preschool. Not a great map for us, honestly. Any walls that I need to break early? Trying to remember on this map. Not many, if any. Just finished watching Naruto. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I believe servers should be back up and running. There shouldn't be any connectivity issues at this point. Let's hit you. You drop early for some ungodly reason and go upstairs. You'll insta-vault, get that stun. Let's see a bounce landing, no bounce landing. Dead hard, dead hard, no dead hard. That's an early down, a down within the first 2 minutes is always good. Let's bring her towards Shack. Sounds like it was worked on, but a person's just left. Let's head towards House of Pain while checking this gen. And did they go into House of Pain? I hear a totem being worked on. Looks like they're in the back. Hello there, Kate. Don't mind if I hit you. Yep, I only brought 3 perks on purpose. I'm debating whether or not I want to do the rule of I can give up a perk for a add-on. I'm debating whether or not I want to do that. Also, I have no idea where she went after that. Let's shock out. She's gone. Maybe dance with me? Maybe that's why they left no scratch marks, potentially? Let's see. No one's on that gen. Corrupt's still up. Only other gen they could be on would be in the school. Hello there, David, me boy. And Nancy as well. Lovely stuff. He does not drop pallet. Good, good, good. He's going to go back around, try and dead hard, I bet. Come on, David. Dead hard. There's dead hard. What matter? Unless Nancy comes back for the pallet drop, potentially. Which does not appear to be the case. Basement's also here, which is a lovely sight. Badham School basement is one of the strongest basements in the game, arguably. Locker play? We just heard locker, right? A locker open. Looks like they're going for the unhook as we speak. Or at least they are threatening to do so. Drops down again. So like right there, high stimulus electrode just saved that pallet. We made it so she could not drop it due to the distance that we had with high stimulus electrode. Hit Kate. You want to go downstairs too? You do. Let's drop down. Perfect. Like I said, basement school, bad place to be. Because now there's 2 survivors in the basement. Hi, David. How goes it? Alright, let's shock out real quick. See if anyone's nearby. So far, no one. Tier 2 on David. Looks like he attempted a Kobe. That takes off like 10, 15 seconds. No worries, Carl. No worries. I hope you have a great day and have fun with friends. Alright, 3 people off of gens at the very least. Let's patrol gens real quick. See if maybe we can find the 4th one. They also all might be going to school right now. Yeah, exactly. They struggled a little bit here. Doesn't sound like anyone on that gen. And there they are. About time. Alright, that means there's 3 people in basement. Now, I'm hoping to high heaven that's Dwight. If that's Nancy, that would be insane. There's 1 heal. Let's injure you. Hi, Dwight. How goes it? Now, he's staying down there because David's down here. I bet you right now David's still here. Watch it. Well, down you. David, me boy. What'd I say? What did I say? The reason why I stayed down there is to try and give David some distance. Who would have guessed? Oh, there goes Ruben. Where'd Dwight go? Oh, there you are, Dwight. Oh, I can't. Seriously? Come on, Dwight. Move. I can't pick you up there. Unless you know that. Is that a known bug? I think he's doing that on purpose. That sucks. Two people upstairs. Yeah, Dwight's absolutely using an exploit. Screw you, mate. I hate when people do that. Basement steps bug is back again. Lovely. You love to see it. Hey, buddy. Screw off, mate. You freaking twat. Alright, let's put you up on hook. What do you freaking get? I can't report for a bug. Unfortunately, the exploitation of that bug is kind of BS, but I can't really report that. Now, scratch marks stop here. Seriously? Do you guys not think that I can see freaking scratch marks? Unless there's Nancy with a head on next to her? But there isn't? Potentially. You might not be wrong, but it's not worth my time, honestly. It's more on behavior to fix the freaking issue. Let's shock out again. No, Nancy? I bet you something. If she is, I'm gonna be so disappointed in this team. Let's find out real quick. Nope. Alright. In that case, let's just meander about. Someone's in a locker? Kate had jumped in one earlier. I don't know if Nancy's still in a locker. She's in a locker? I think she probably is. But I'll just kind of patrol around. I have no reason not to, honestly. If Nancy was smart, she would just end up ending the match here. It sucks that we got this type of match, though, because we brought High Stimulus Electrode to demonstrate that with it, Doctor is a whole lot stronger, even if you run 3 perks. Yeah, she wasn't into shock. She could have left, potentially. She could have left when I grabbed Kate. And last survivor. Yeah, look how far shock therapy is now 5 stimulus. Like, the amount of range and width you have is ridiculous. Is Ghost by when Kate got hooked? Maybe. If she did, she was smart. True. Alright, not. Wait, what? I thought I heard for a second. Not there, so let's break this door. No reason to keep that closed for now. But GG, well played to these survivors. Alright, we'll do another match with High Stimulus Electrode. F that. I mean, you kinda botched that one, folks. Not gonna lie. When Legion get banned for wounds, but Survivor can climb on walls, whatever they want. True, true. Alright, we'll count that as a win. Like I said, I'm testing out a new rule of having killers bring a add-on in exchange for 1 perk. 1 add-on for 1 perk. What do you guys think, out of curiosity? I mean, that add-on is a stronger version of Doc? It is. Without a doubt. This is, by far, the strongest version of Doc right there. All seeing blood on what? All seeing blood on, what, Wraith? I mean, that's pretty strong, honestly. Do I think it's necessary to bring All See on Wraith for him to be useful? Probably not. Not to mention, I think it's only useful in certain maps. I think that All Seen is only really good on indoor maps, thinking of Leary's, Hawkins, also Corn maps, so any of the Coldwood maps. I think if you're bringing All Seen, you want to be on those maps specifically. Do I think they're good on every map? I don't think you always get the value that you want. I'll be honest. I think that if you're seeing people fall scene, you could very likely have just seen them right in front of you instead. True, true. But I would rather run the staples, which are Corrupt, Ruin, Pop, than High Stimulus. Am I enjoying the food? I am. It's really good Indian food. I'm hungry. I've only eaten like one thing today. So I'm freaking starving. I'm not gonna lie. To be fair, like, my day is kind of screwed up, so my day looks like this. I go to bed at 3:30. No, sorry, 3:30. I wake up freaky at 3:30. So I go to bed at 6 a.m., wake up at 1 p.m., and then we'll rake the rest of the day. Like, that's my average day. At least right now it is. Then from 5 to 9, I stream. After 9, I then record YouTube videos, do highlights, make sure everything in COTF is going well. I have a busy day, even if it goes like into the late night, but I've always been a night owl. Yo, what's up, streams? How goes it? How goes it? How you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Alright, let's test out High Stimulus Electrode again on Doc. I mean, for the most part, I think that it's a fair trade to lose a perk for a add-on. Just watched a nice DVD streamer just rage quit. Really? What happened? Got dealed with by a sweat squad? Got you. Start doing weekly compilation for DVD? I would love to, but that's expensive. I guess maybe, It depends. It gets expensive real quick, for editing. I'm not an editor. Also, I have my editor cam, which, you know, I could see about doing that. Wouldn't be a horrible idea, theoretically. And right, thank you much for the lurk. I appreciate it, mate. Looks like Steve right there. Alright, make sure that he can't fault there. He does have a pallet. I'll get a hit on the mid. He goes to the left. And does he go back around? Nope, he goes into the LT wall. There goes Ruin. Ruin was unfortunately in my corrupted gens. Through the whole week in one video. Could. He has life, yeah. It's trying to hit one of them. There we go. There's Steve. No dead heart since he had life. Nope, he has dead heart. I think he just dead hearted. I don't think he has life. I heard the footsteps of Cheryl. Yeah, Cheryl. You do you. Alright, she shouldn't be able to make it in. I don't think there's a way for her to make it. But yeah, he had dead hard. Not life after all. That makes sense. That was 90 seconds. So 80 seconds for one gen. That's probably one person on it, more likely than not. Let's chase Cheryl since she's injured. She's going for God Palette. Let's try and cut her off. High Stimulus Electro just went off. Like I said, High Stimulus Electro freaking is clutch. Drop it. Boxer. She dodges it, but that's fine. Gets enough distance for the down. Alright. There's a person here. Flashlight save attempt? No, that's, what was that? That makes no sense. That was a toolbox. Why? Why'd she come towards me on a pickup for toolbox? Strange. Let's see. Breakout, maybe? Maybe. That's a thought. Let's go for you. You have a vault and a pallet. Let's do this. Stop the vault. Highest Miss Electro is so good. She has the pallet now. Let's try and box her in. No dead hard this time. I mean, so far, it's been evident that I get to use my shock therapy so much more often. Oof. They've got another gen, though. That must be that Dwight has been on a gen this entire time? Interesting. Let's shock that real quick. See where they are. That's 1 and 2. They're probably healing. That is Dwight and Cheryl. There's Steve. I'm going to ignore Steve for a second. I'll go for Dwight. Pallet there. Will you loop it? You will not. He has another pallet to his right. Let's box him in. He doesn't drop it. Perfect. Alright, he's going to go for God Pallet. We already know what to do here. I don't think he makes it. I don't think I need to shock therapy. Yeah, even if dead hard doesn't matter. I don't care at all. Pick you up. No one's gone for the unhook yet. There's Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. You want a body block? I mean, if you really want to, it's not going to matter. I don't understand that play, unless you're trying to get Metal Man to proc. No, we don't get the shock therapy on that. Dead hard on Cheryl? Nope. Attempted 360, didn't work. Let's box her in. She goes hill. Stun for bounce landing? Nope, no bounce landing. Alright, let's pick you up. Let's go to the hook behind me. And we see scratch marks going out to the left. As well as vaulting. And a skill check miss. There's Steve. Let's shock out. We'll hit Steve and one other. There it is. There's Dwight. There's Steve. Who do we want to go for? Let's go for Steve. Why not? Yeah, it's dead hard, right? Pallet's still up in check? Yeah, let's play it. Let's shock out. He doesn't sit on it. Good, good, good. He's going long side. And let's shock now. I still got the animation lock. I should have done it a bit sooner. That's one thing, is that I don't use High Stimulus Electrode enough to be able to know when I need to shock out. I also got the wrong angle there, I think. He'll go for the vault again. Oh, mid-vault? No. Spine chill, I think. He shouldn't be able to get that fast of a vault. I don't think he should have. I could be mistaken. Drop it. Following him here is a bad idea. I should probably drop chase. That's a spine chill. No way in hell it's not. That vault's way too fast. I need to drop this chase. He can do that way too long for my liking. 3 gen here. Let's pop. That's 1 and 2. One person on tier 3 now. They're on this pallet, I think. No? They must have left early then. I see Steve again. I see this gen. There's Dwight on tier 3 after he snapped out. Let's hit. We're not going to give him distance. Or I'm not going to chase him. There's Nia. There's Steve. Let's fake out the red light. He goes here and drops. Looks like he already had the vault. Yeah, look at that. That has to be Resilient Spine Chill. Or at least one. The fact of the matter is he's just way too quick for his own good. Alright, she might try and loop Excavator. We can ice his Electrode here. He gets hit. I mean, that's fine. I don't know why she would drop that at that point, to be honest with you. Yeah, the perfect killer challenge for me? What's that? I'm curious. Keep in mind, I probably won't do too many challenges outside of the 50 kills. Or 50 wins in a row, rather. Obsession can only be M1, everyone else can only be special attack. Oh, so basically just an M2 match, more or less. I mean, we could do that eventually. Just do an M2 match on everyone except for, obviously, our basic M1ers. Looks like they've worked on pretty much every gen at this point. Let's get this. Yeah, I'd be down for an M2 challenge eventually. There's Nia. That's a mistake. Dead hard, down. And the person to my right. Not sure who that was. Steve or Dwight, that's a matter of fact. Get off that, Steve. Screw off, mate. Oh, Dwight here's too. Holy hell. Freaking nubbins. Let's shock. There's Dwight, there's Steve. Let's go for Steve. Shock him. He plays the column tile pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. Let's ignore, as they're gonna jump on Jen immediately. BT, you're lucky. You are a lucky duck, Nia. Dwight wants to take aggro, that's fine. Steve is still on tier 3, so he can't work on gens. We'll give him control of pallet. We're gonna shock out here. And push him to the next pallet. He's just trying to lead me away so one of the gen gets popped. Which makes sense. He has dead hard. No, he's just trying to lead me away. Steve's off the tier 3. Neil will jump back on the gen. We'll see one gen pop momentarily. But now they need to come out here. But multiple gens are there. We're pretty well progressed. There's one. And if I had to bet, Steve's on that one right in front of me. On the farthest side away. That would be my guesstimation. That gen's still recovering. Or regressing, rather. Let's shock out. No, they're not. But we see 1 and 2. Nia's now healed, but on tier 3. Let's go for Steve, then. Yeah, based on the speed he's vaulting, I still want to say Spine Chill. Good hit. That's now locked out. Nia has to go for the save. He'll go for the column tile. He goes for the pallet, that's fine. Alright, what's the play here, Steve? You go back around, you go to the vault. Might want to break that pallet then, because he can loop this pretty effectively. Yep, he vaults. He goes back around, so we need to box him out of this tile completely. Then push him into the next area. Which he's going to go for this. We see Nia going for that gen. He'll go to the right. Let's see if we can make this. Dead-hearted? That was a dead-hard. That's exactly what he just did. He dead-hearted through the shock. You son of a frickin'... That's rough. He timed that perfectly. He ensured that I could not get value. Check this gen. I bet you both Dwight and Nia are on it. Dwight's healed. Shock. That is 2. Let's go for Dwight. And Steve will be on one of those 2 gens now. To be fair, they're pretty well regressed, so moot point. He falls off. He's in a dead zone, though. Thinking of pallets, thinking of pallets. There's one coming up on the right. We shock. That interrupts and gives me the distance that I need. No dead hard. Great stuff. Let's down you. Let's pick you up. Let's hook you. And then we have to go for Steve on his gens, I think. I know the wheel on Nia was also pretty well done, but I think Steve has already been on gens for a while now. He's still injured too, which allowed me to slug him out. He's back on this tile. Let's pop this. But Nia's gonna pop that gen soon. I give it another 30 seconds, if not less. Steve goes here, he realizes that tile's pretty weak, so he's opting to go for Shack, which has not been fully used. Let's shock window. Let's shock it again. Yep, we're gonna make up distance. You still managed the vault, by the way. There goes Nia's gen. She'll be immediately onto the execute. Spine chill. It has to be! It's ridiculous how fast that man vaults. Alright, so we have to forgo the... But there's a... what do we do? There's an execute here that Steve's on. An execute there that Nia's now on. Steve's gonna immediately jump on that. Nia, all she needs to do is run to the right. So, how do we play this? I hit Nia. Oh, please, momentum the wrong way. Did she give me that? She might have given me this. No pallet here. She has that window. There's the dead hard for distance. Mid-vault, though, resulting in a down. We slug her out and go for Steve immediately, but I don't think we have enough time. By the time I get there, I think he's done to execute. Shock? Nope, nothing I can do. I would have reached him, but just barely. Yo, what's up, Matt? How goes it? How goes it? Well, congratulations on the job. That's wicked exciting at the very least. Where are you at, Nia? No, I think not. But what job is it, out of curiosity? Hopefully something worth your while, something that you enjoy at the very least. So Steve's on Death Hook, Nia's not. We're bringing her as far away from the execute. Oh no, she is. Oh, I thought Steve was. That's my bad. Oh, that makes it more difficult. Actually, it makes it impossible. We lose the match. What is he doing? Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, rough, but GG, well played to these survivors. Let's see, Spine Chill and Steve? Spine Chill, Resilience, Dead Hard, Iron Will. How did we know? Jesus. Yeah, those vaults were ridiculous. A guard at a correctional facility. That sounds both interesting, but also probably a little bit terrifying, depending on what type of correctional facility. That is a big thing. That's rough. I mean, he played that wicked well. Let's see, dead hard, and then no exhaustion perks. I want to say 4-man Swift on that. I want to say 4-man Swift for sure. Are you enjoying the job at the very least? But that there does result in a loss on Zidocta. Alright, we'll do one more match this time without the high stimulus electrode. Instead, we're going to run Starstruck. See how well this works. Oh, I should have grabbed the freaking green one instead of the purple. Whoopsie. Here we go, Starstruck. No way out. Grab you, and... Alright, we'll get a Starstruck tier 3. As well as no way out tier 3. Actually, it might take no way out. Yep, that's what I figured. Which means I will take Hysteria. I need to grab that. I was really hoping that I'd grab the Mori. I guess not, though. Alright, we got what we needed, though. I don't need to get everything else right now. We got Starstruck, so let's see how well that works on the dock. Ideally, what we do is we save our Static Blast for when we pick up. Once we hook, then we pop it, get Starstruck. And ideally, that should then mean that we know where everyone is. Or at least know where they are within Starstruck range. That'd be the ideal scenario. Make sure no one has contraband and make sure no fights break out. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Well, biggest thing is, of course, stay safe. And also one thing that I will also say, I don't know like what your role entails, but biggest thing that I can impart on you and like just say in general is, especially when it comes to like correctional facilities or prisons in general. Just trying to remember at the end of the day, these people are human, right? I feel like all too often in correctional facilities and prisons, whatnot, honestly, some people, yeah, they've done some really bad stuff. And most times when you think of prisoners, we think of those who have done the most heinous of things, you know, pedophilia, rape, murder, yada, yada, yada. A lot of times, not always the case. Obviously depends on what type of correctional facility you're in. But that'd be a main thing, you know. Make sure if you're interacting with these people, bring a touch of humanity, and it'll probably go a long way. I'm sure that they'll appreciate it. But that being said, let's put on another offering real quick, and this will be our last match of the day. Some of them are really nice, and if they are nice to me, I'll be nice to them. Exactly. You know, at the end of the day, people are in prison as punishment for their crimes. Now, that's not to suggest that you want to give them the cushiest life in the world, right? But at the end of the day, the people in prison should still be treated like people. You know, they are prisoners, but they're still people. This comes in this conversation, and it's nothing related to you, Matt, but it's actually like a good conversation to have, especially around what's happening in Texas right now. Texas prisons are getting to some unbelievably high temps, and people's cells or rooms can get all the way up to a temp of 115 degrees, if not more. And a lot of these prisons don't have air conditioning at all. Any AC, any, you know, HVAC system, so on and so forth. So, like, these people are in these temperatures all summer long. And one of the big things is that, you know, a lot of these people are going to have, you know, medical conditions. That might mean that they're more susceptible to heat stroke, heart attack, stroke, so on and so on. So, I don't know. I'm very much big into prison reform and understanding that prison, though a place obviously to keep people out of society who have done wrong in society, I also need to keep in mind that they are people and that the best way to rehabilitate people is by treating them like humans and going from there. But that's my quick take on the prison system. I could go on many different rants, as I've said before, whether it be about education, whether it be about prison reform, government reform, a whole lot of stuff. Alright, let's see. We did see the Felix. There he is. I still see him. Oh, no, it's not Felix. Sorry, it's David. Let's shock again. Alright, I think he gave me enough distance for a hit here, which would be good. Perfect. I get why they did it. Not to say I would, but some of them have stolen just to support. Exactly. Like, a lot of people in prisons are. A lot of people have done like petty crimes. It's not like I said, the most heinous crimes in the world. It's not what most people think of when you think of a stereotypical prison, right? There's the dead hard for extra distance. Yep, makes sense. We don't get that swing. I go for this pallet, though. Without that dead hard, I think you'd die here, David. The thing is, that went on for quite a while. That was a decent run. Hello? Frickin' doctor thinking there for a moment whether or not he actually want to hook him. Well, let's shock out. There's at least 2 people here. Yep, that's tier 1 and tier 2. Starstruck is up, of course, which should include the Nia. I don't know how I didn't shock her. That's interesting. Alright, Starstruck value is about up. So moot point coming in, that's already 30 seconds. She vaults again. She's no longer exposed. Oh, she got good RNG on this. If you look at the RNG on the building, it's probably one of the best RNGs you could get because of that double window there. She can just go back and forth all day long. Good fake this time. This chase's taking too long. Starstruck's about up, so that's taking at least 60 seconds. That's rough. She's going to Shack now. I don't know what's up, but survivors today seem utterly insane. They are playing so efficiently. It's ridiculous. That brings me to House of Pain. Let's shock out, see if anyone's downstairs. Hold up. Nope, just Nia. There's no one nearby. Oh, I missed DVD, but hey, I'm busy, so what can you do exactly? Let's do this. That works. Now she's on short side. Let's shock her. That way, even if she gets to the pallet, she can't do much. Starstruck's up. And now active. And at the end of the day, hey, it's a job. You know, you're paying the bills, right? So it's always good news. Now let's check gens. We have 30 seconds to get to any singular gen. Alright, they're on this one. Shock them. 10% regression. There's Yoon. Well, sorry to say, I don't care if you're going for a depth. I am going to kill you one way or another. Give her control of pallet. And will she go for the vault? She does not. Alright, she's locked in now. And down. Perfect. Starstruck is back in 15 seconds. So what we can do is we can go towards the other hook. There's no... Actually, there's a hook that's kind of close by, but not immediately on it. No, I don't think we get the ability to double Starstruck. Unfortunate. Very close. We were close on that one. Shock out. There's Nia, like a freaking bat from hell. Give her control of pallet. And do we get the distance we need here? No. That's with a shot. Whereas everyone else? Some people are scrimming in preparation for Champions of the Fog. Some people probably are doing things now that the weather is warmer and it's, you know, good to be out and about. I think that is the thing. Yo, what's up, Gigi? How goes it? How goes it? And Matt was just telling me that he got a job recently. Or they got a job, rather. Let's see. Will you vault out? You will the back? No? I tried to fake her out there. It didn't work. Vaults out that way. This Nia's insane. She knows what the hell she's doing. It's scary. Yeah, look at that. Every time that she goes onto a pallet, she changes direction on a whim. Alright, do we get this? I don't think so. Like, we've been trying to get as much distance as possible, but it's not been working at all. She goes back on car. Look at this. Look at this, Nia. I don't know what it's been today. I have literally no freaking clue. But survivors today have been on something else entirely. They have been just playing as optimally as possible. I swear to God, behavior accidentally flicked a switch and MMR is active. I seriously am not even lying with that. All good, Matt, all good. I hope you have a good one. I hope the job treats you well. And, hopefully we'll see you again soon. Alright. Scratch marks going in this direction. Hi, David. How you doing? Thankfully, they gave me a 3-gen that I could theoretically work with. I'm not leaving this area. Screw you guys. You guys brought this on yourself. That's one back there. I'm going to force you into an unsafe unhook. There's no reason for me to leave this. And check every single generator around. Alright, we hear probably 2 people, in fact. There's David. He's shocked now. That's it, you. Does he get far? He has dead hard. Let's remember that fact. He's gonna go for the vault. He's gonna dead hard early, right? He has this pallet as well. And he could go downstairs for distance. That's it, you. Let's break. Let's down you real quick. And see where we're at. Alright, we're gonna go upstairs. We're gonna hook Nia. These 2 are now starstruck. So that's really good. I don't know what they're thinking being around me right now, but it will be the end of them. Hi, David. Alright. Let's pick you up. Let's get you on a hook now. Looks like David's given up a little bit. I don't know what Mega's thinking, especially as David was not struggling at all just now. The only thing I could think of is maybe Yui is on a gen, in which case I might slug Meg out. I think that might be the move to confirm the win. Sorry, Yui. Now you're going for a depth, but I don't give 2 craps. Let's shock out real quick. Nothing. What? Are they on this gen? They haven't worked on a single gen this entire time. Why the tunnel? Because you were in a less opportune spot than the other survivor. I made a decision to who was in a weaker location. So that was my decision making there. Who was in a weaker position? It was you at the end of the day. I knew you had the pallet to the left, but at the end of the day, even if you threw the pallet, it forced you downstairs to where I could make a play. And because of that, it was just a strategic choice. Nothing against you personally. Just a strategic choice at the end of the day. Let's lock her in. It's not vault, surprising. Good lock. And down. And down either of them, but Yui in like 10 seconds. I mean, honestly, yeah, my chases with them have been a lot shorter than yours. But I did not know whether the other ones were going to go out back. It's been strange. Today's almost felt like MMR's been implemented again. Because I've been getting some really good survivors, yourself included. You've played this game really well. But, I mean, that's a conversation that I've been talking about before, to where the real issue with the game is matchmaking. And how red ranks can have such a high skill disparity from rank 1 to rank 4. Some survivors are going to be freaking gods, or they know how to loop, like you. And some of them are going to be like Meg here. That's unfortunately how it goes. Then all gens. Rune did nothing. Rune did some work, but not much. Most times I was watching as gens were flying, as I was in chase. You guys were pretty efficient on gens. It wasn't up until the 3 gen where I was able to take a little bit more control. And that's simply because of Starstruck value, honestly. I saw an apparition there. They should be Starstruck then. Without a doubt. Yui, what are you doing? What are you doing, my girl? Shock. David's right in the house for some ungodly reason. Why are you here, David? Why would you stay in Starstruck range? What is the play? I'm sure about the Yui's gonna unhook in front of me. No, she might be a little smarter than that. Might be a wee bit smarter than that. Alright, let's see. I can get you there. Wait, why did you not unhook? Wait, what? I baited out the unhook. She didn't go for it. But then she still didn't go for it? Huh? What? I'm so confused. But either way, his name is Loop. I do appreciate stopping by saying hi. Would love to have you here as part of Guilty ones if you are interested. Like I said, you did an amazing job looping. And really held your ground for quite some time. I had to make some really tough decisions when trying to go for you. She'll drop. She'll vault. Nope. What's the play? Vault and take a hit. Wait, are you still in the same loop? Yui, why? Why would you stay here? Yeah, she is. I thought for a second that maybe she would have Spartaned up. She has breakout. She tried to get David off, but wasn't wiggling because why not? Gotcha. I guess that makes sense now. I mean, he was wiggling towards the end, but towards the beginning, yeah, he didn't at all. There's the vault. Will you play this smart? You do-ish. I can just loop you until I'm Bloodlust 1000. Yep, there's the vault. And you have another vault coming up. He's also trying for Adept. Fair. I could give it to her in the end. I guess your name is going for Adept after all. So she's actually going for Adept. It's not just a ploy for me to go easy on her. If that's the case. We'll give her Hatch. We haven't given anyone Hatch this entire game. Alright. Is there still a point redeem? There was not tonight. Today was Win Streak Wednesday. I would redeem for Yui Mercy. Fair, fair. Oh, are you talking about polls? Yeah, polls, we did not do much today. I was the only moderator. We got Steve last game. What's Steve doing Adept last game? Fair. Alright, go Yui. Enjoy. Have fun. I'm gonna go around and break some pallets. Alright. Gotta respect the Adepts. Yeah, though you never know when people are actually doing so. I've seen many people doing going for Adept or Adept challenge. Just to not get killed at the end. But no worries. Like I said, you did a really good job, so congratulations to that. And once again, GG, well played to the survivors. And thank you much for the follow. Name is Luke. Thank you much. I appreciate it. I'm Mark, aka Guilt Spire. I'm an educational killer main, here to teach ghosts how to play killer and survivors how to play against killer. Name is Loop has lobbied us successfully today. What do you mean has lobbied us? Or lobbied with you, Pac-Man? Megan, David, or Papega? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Also, there's 2 breakouts in that game. I just realized. Huh. Fair play. Did not realize that entire time. But that there will give Doctor one more win on his win streak. For the truthiness of the depth attempt. Ah, gotcha. Alright, though. Well, with that being said, that is our last match of the day. And I think we're gonna go raid Cup of Jojo. Let's do that real quick. But as always, guys, if you did enjoy the show, make sure to hit that follow button. If you haven't already, though, check out our Extra Life campaign. We're trying to help heal kids at Sanford Children's Hospital here in Fargo, North Dakota. On that note, guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow at 5 p.m. CST. Bye-bye!